And everybody, we're live, we're multi-streaming, we're doing what we got to do to get out there onto the interwebs. Hope you guys are ready for a show today. We're live, we're multi-streaming, we're doing what we got to do to get out there onto the interwebs. Hope you guys are. What happened there? Ready for a show today. We're live. We're multi-streaming. We're doing what we got to do to get out there onto the interwebs. You have to enjoy hope you guys all got to do. What happened there? Mute. Ready for a show today. We're live. We're multi-streaming. We're doing what we got to do to get out there onto the interwebs. I'm digging this echo. Hope you guys all got to do. What happened there? Mute. Ready for a show today. We're live. We're multi-streaming. We're doing what we got to do to get out there onto the interwebs. I'm digging this echo. Hope you guys all got to do. What happened there? Mute. Ready for a show today. We're live. To get out there onto the interwebs. I'm digging this echo. Hope you guys okay, so that sounded me good. All right. Hi. Ready for a show today. We're live. Yeah, there we go. That's much better. This thing, every time I turn it on, it wants to take over my whole stream and do everything on its own. It's just not fair, and it drives me crazy. That's much better. Oh. This thing, every time I turn it on, it wants to take over my whole stream and do everything on its own. It's just not fair, and it drives me crazy. That's much better. Take over my whole stream. This thing, every time I turn it on, it wants to take over my stream. Not fair, and it drives me crazy. That's much better. I must have a page open I don't know about. That's weird. Not fair, and it drives me crazy. That's much better. I must have a page open I don't know about. That's weird. I must have a page open I don't know about. It's weird. Okay, that's gonna make me crazy. I must have a page open I don't know about. It's weird. Okay, that's gonna make me crazy.
Live in 60, Hal.
Thank you. Oh. That was the page that was messing with me. Clearly. Okay, good. Although I don't know if this is... It says stream health is cool, but I'm getting rough and tumble back from the other thing. So I don't know. How's the feed look to you guys, stream-wise, before we start? Hi. I fixed the echo. It was just, I had an extra page open and it was looping back on itself. We're about to go live. So, like, just, I've been tweaking.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Live exclusively for WCPT in Chicago, standing up and speaking out, here's Hal Sparks.
So I guess maybe unless you were in the Castro camp, which I'm curious what callers think today, 773-763-9278, what your feeling was about his tactic. Because here's how the last one went down, and I think we can see that there were lessons learned and lessons ignored from the last debates, where especially where Kamala Harris went after Joe Biden very distinctly in a very direct way, and it was not received well by the electorate across the board. She dropped a full 7 points by any metric. And that's not something, even with the August slump, that's not something you want to do leading up into, especially in a time when by being in single digits, that puts you on the bubble, and you are within striking distance of, the outsiders, the kind of fringe candidates punching their way inside. Some people have qualified, like Tom Steyer, for the next debate already, even though they didn't qualify for this one. So you don't want to after that attack strategy. And I think on top of that, there was also a perception by a lot of people that everyone, with the exception of Biden, of course, was attacking the Obama legacy. And not in a way that there was something there they could improve on, but in a way that Republicans do. And I think there were a lot of sore feelings around that. And you could tell in how people were perceived. Everybody got a little bit of a ding based on how much they did that. This time, everybody learned their lesson. This time, everybody was respectful of the last president and recognized the contrast. And I understand sometimes when people get into fight mode, and this happens on Twitter. You see this a lot on social media, especially. And I think we've kind of created our debate and conversation strategy a lot around how we interact on social media. And by the way, hi, chat room. Thanks for being awesome. That people get into a fighting stance, verbally and psychologically, where they, no matter, even if someone is presenting a positive response, you can easily, text is very easy to misread anyways, but you see this very often. Several people have this, it's a knee-jerk reaction. And activists tend to have this more than anyone because they live a clickbait life, right? And so their response to things when they see it, we're not having, somehow YouTube is being weird. That's very strange. We will fix that in just a moment. But it might require you to reload your page, folks. Thanks. So you have to recognize what's happening. And I think a lot of people midstream when they're in a conversation or they're back and forth or there's a Twitter chain of limitations in how many characters they have on one platform versus another, those kind of things. And you can see these mismatches happen all the time where people are talking at cross purposes, where they have a tendency to read what the other person is writing as more egregiously vilifying than it actually is. Honest questions get misinterpreted as attacks. Generic statements get, certain words emphasized more than others, just in the exchange. So this happens a lot in social media. And in many ways, since we started, are the Craigslist of buy this chair in an alley, I'm sure, and bring lots of cash. It's the sketchy part of town on the internet. In that case, it's not surprising that in our debate structure that has happened to some degree as well. So even statements that were meant as kind of baseline supportive in the context of the broader debate that's going on, and the knee-jerk reaction that everybody has, and I blame George W. Bush for this to some degree, because attacking a particular I see. There's some issues here going on. I see. I'm gonna help you guys in the video stream in a moment. I'm gonna check something. I think it's simply an issue the Restream software, but we'll fix that. And in the case of the last debate, there's sort of a history of everybody's so angry with Trump and so used to dealing with his madness and ridiculousness that there's almost like the minute you say the president, it triggers a response. It has it triggers a habitual way of thinking, a context in which your argument goes forward. And I think that started largely with George W. Bush post, in the sort of mid-Iraq war, during the you don't change streams, horses in the middle of a stream, kind of war footing attitude. anybody who was against the war or came to their senses to be against the war or was against it from the very beginning was aware of Dick Cheney's influence, had a very hostile view of that White House, and rightly so, has a similar view in many ways to the Trump White House. But there's this kind of overlay. Maybe it's part of the reflex of people say, there's a tendency, like statistically, that everyone hates Congress, but they love their congressperson. Everybody can read the words of what somebody else wrote online or hear their words in an argument and attribute the most villainous motivations behind that. Meanwhile, on their own, they can't understand why anybody would misinterpret what they're saying. So this is where we enter into the debate cycle. And in the last debate cycle, like I said, the lesson learned was I think I know what the issue is, Natalie. We will fix it. So in the process of debating that point that people have become, that has become normalized, and it is simply just not a functional way of operating in a debate among friends. And so from a democratic standpoint, the democratic debate itself is incredibly fraught with peril. And depending on what your attack strategy is, you are either, I think, artificially encouraged by that strategy, or you are hamstrung by it. You are either desperately trying to avoid friendly fire while being strong in your assertion of your worth in the debate, or you are genuinely fighting with someone you perceive as an enemy. And I think, interestingly enough, even more so than Kamala Harris, I think Julian Castro found himself in that position, and I found it very peculiar. I think the wording of what he said, and oddly enough, he may have been safe at one point, but his follow-up attack on Mayor Pete seemed to, it was quite peculiar. I think it scuttled any chance he had at bringing it back. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks Radio program, mega worldwide on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk. 773-763-9278 is our number. Be right back, chat room. And we're back, I think. We'll see. We should be pretty good now, I think, in general. Hopefully that straightens it out. I think that's a YouTube issue, not mine. That's always a weird thing. You never can quite tell. We shall see what we shall see. Hope you're here and with us. There you go. Hi, chat room. It's going to jumpstart and start again, chat room. So say hello, everybody, if you're in here with me. The YouTube, it's sending data to YouTube. I see. That's the issue. What are you doing now, you strange person? Settings? I don't want to do that. All right. Twitch seems fine. Periscope is sending data. So there we go. We'll jump it and test it real quick. What'd you say? Sorry?
Coming back in 60.
Perfect. Yeah, Twitch is pretty smooth. YouTube, I think, is having the issues because I think everybody's piling on that as a source. Just as we're starting to get it together on YouTube, it would go and be a jerk about it. So, and it may simply be, I've been out and about. So welcome, Twitch people. And insofar as YouTube goes. The YouTube folks, can you guys see me in there? Are you? Let's see. I'm gonna check this stream. Make sure you guys are there.
This is Doris Davenport, host of The Doris Davenport Show, all local, all the time. I'm on every Saturday morning from 10 to 11, right before Hal Sparks. Now let's get back to Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
So it is not surprising that as we get closer to the actual primaries and, starting off in January, things, people are going to get sharper in their attacks of each other. There's a real issue, though, I think, around why are you taking a shot if you don't have a shot? This is the curious part to me. Because in the case of if you're in single digits in the debate, if you're operating at a in the 2-3% zone, do you really want to sort of go for a scorched earth tactic? Is that going to be your best way of handling this? Because that was my issue, even more so, by the way, with Julian Castro this time than with Harris last time. And like I said, it did not work out well for her. The worst part was, and you hear a bunch of this language about if you're going to come for the king, don't miss, and he's the front runner, so if you're going to take a shot at him, you better have it together. And there's something to totally misreading the room. And also, the Democratic Party, much like, I think, to some degree, early Tea Party Republicans, like kind of the early, during the early rise of Tea Party Republicans, has got internal divisions that it has to work out. That there's enough infighting to go around. You don't need to add to that problem. As a matter of fact, if you essentially want to, be a part of that, if that's your strategy, that's not making a great case for why you would be a great Democratic Party leader, much less the president and representative of the party as a whole. If divide and conquer is your strategy this early, then you're obviously, it's not working very well. So the Castro technique, I think, didn't work, and I think ultimately it will scuttle his entire chances of I guess at this point, VP or a cabinet position. Now, is there a chance? Is there a possibility, in any way, that this is part of a strategy? Let's see. I've got to find a way to share this guy with you guys because I'm on my regular stream. You might have to go to a different stream. Let's see. Is this part of a strategy? Is that, do they have they talked amongst themselves and said, yeah, take the fight to me, keep your gloves up a little bit, but essentially you're allowed, and then later on we'll have a kumbaya moment, and we'll have it'll prove that even in spite of our differences, we can create unity. Is that part of what's going on? Because that's a reasonable thought to have. That is an absolute possibility. There's an absolute possibility that that the DNC, these guys have powwowed and decided, that whoever gets out in front, you guys can take your shots, but go easy to some degree. That's why. Sorry, we are now public. I apologize, guys. The thing was unlisted because of something. I see. All right. The stream should be listed in live currently. We should be good. of all the times to try it, Julian Castro attacks the healthcare plan after it's abundantly clear that Biden, he opened the fight in the very beginning. Oddly enough, people were, I guess, a bit surprised that that he was aggressive from the very start. No one was necessarily expecting that. They were expecting, him to be on the defensive. That the first attacks would actually come from a Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren tag team match, right? And it didn't ultimately. I think he was prepped for that and decided this is either gonna happen and I need to deal with this right away. And I think effectively did. You can, again, this is a difference in policy depending on if you think that single payer is the way or Medicare for all is the way. There is a definite debate to be had there, and it certainly was. And I appreciated the fact that in this debate there was more kind of mechanical debate about costs, implementation, strategy, whether or not you do it on day one, whether it's something you phase in, whether you could even phase it in, what the costs over 10 years would be versus what the benefit ratio would be and guaranteed, all those elements are worth debating. They are necessary to the debate. Healthcare, and again, anybody who immediately likes the bumper stickers of single payer or Medicare for all and immediately, says this is, the my way or the highway kind of attitude about either one is falling, I think, into the trap of Donald Trump, who said, no one knew that healthcare could be so complicated. Well, yes, they did. There was a reason, you guys know that one of the ways I even that I started being on radio on Steph's show was, and I'm going to be there in a couple weeks on my birthday. I think that's the next time I'm going to be on. That would be really nice if you guys could join us. Either way, she's on WCPT regularly, so listen to her there. Or SiriusXM, I suppose, if that's your source and you're traveling around. But you can always use the website, WCPT820.com. And in the course of, like just being on the show, the reason I ended up on Steph's show was because I was on the air to promote my stand-up show locally in LA, and I'd read the healthcare bill. I'd read the ACA. Mainly because I was aggravated that everyone was saying nobody has read this. So I was like, well, one person, I will. How about that? I'll read it. So you can't say nobody's read it. There you go. That's all right. So let's just nip that in the bud. And ultimately, again, it runs through committee. Everybody's broken it down line by line. They talk in committee to their parties, and both sides have gone through every single word of a giant bill like that. And anything that carries forward from before was either run through committee before and is just being kind of rubber stamped and added on, or there's addendums in committee process. But the idea that nobody's read it all, cover to cover, is more of a conspiracy theory than a reality of governing. They update the telephone book. No one at the telephone company, aging myself, when they updated the telephone book, no one at the telephone company reread the telephone book from cover to cover to check for errors. They just checked the things they were adding for errors, organized them into the file, and printed it. So it's just silly. Anyways, the other aspect is that healthcare is incredibly complicated. Every aspect of it is complicated. And we're going to talk a little bit today about the Sacklers and the opioid crisis and the DEA confronting them and the bill put forward by Blackburn and Marino being the I think a Pennsylvania congressman who wrote the bill that basically under the guise of helping drug distributors have clearer guidelines, ultimately tied the hands of the DEA when they were dumping OxyContin pills into small towns in the millions. in a number of pills that could not even be consumed by the human beings there. If every single one of them had the max prescription, it's an absurdity. So, but the DA could do nothing about it due to this bill, effectively, this element of the law that's now in place. A lot of the people who signed on to that bill were signing on to the fixes that basically hid all the negatives. And well, we always, I've always dealt with here the idea that it should be spirit of the law as far as the bill, that you should not be able to attach addendum about anything that isn't directly related to the law. So you don't have school lunches tied to a defense bill, and that as a way of scuttling one or the other or carrying through one or the other when it doesn't deserve it and it's not getting the scrutiny it needs. So in the case of healthcare, there's an incredible density of issues, problems, complexity that goes there. There's as many illnesses in this process, and one only need look at the Trump administration's new policy of kicking people out who are here getting life-saving medical treatments as part of a routine immigration policy that they want to enact. Healthcare is incredibly complicated, and the process of transitioning to it, whether you transition to Medicare for all or whether you transition from single payer as an option with two parallel tracks eventually ending up in that, is incredibly difficult and is fraught with peril. And if anybody says that it'd be simple, we can do it like flipping on a switch, they're lying to you. There are too many elements where uninterrupted care are crucial to the life of a patient or a person, and to switch off effectively these programs without making sure that there's an awareness of those programs picking up the slack at the same time, and thinking that, by the way, insurance companies will automatically tell you all the areas they're paying because they don't want it to actually work. We got to take a break. We'll be back. It's the Hal Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide, on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Healthcare is complicated. It's a dense problem, and it requires management and people who actually care about it. We'll be back. Hey, everybody in the chat room. Good to see you. Excellent. Are you suggesting that Hal Sparks fans migrate? It could grip it by the husk. Yeah. Sorry about the. That was my fault. I was setting up a private Patreon stream for Monday. Some of you may have gotten a notification about that. 4:00 on Monday Pacific time. We're going to be doing a patrons only stream, and to do that in the settings, I had to set it to unlisted on YouTube and private and all that kind of stuff, and it just stayed that way. So that was the thing. You still have 52 people in the original chat? Oh, well, everybody hop over here, or share this link, although I think we should be okay. Can you explain shifts requested from DNI? Yes. Hold on. Let's see. Hi, Laura. How are you? Yes, Tom's migrating with us. The Canadians definitely know how to snowbird. That's for sure. Oh, I see. So this is... Thank you. Yeah, get it. Yeah, thanks very much. Is there two streams going on, or is it just say nothing's going on? Hi. There you go. Hey, Richard. I'm glad you're going to be there. That's awesome. Yeah, like and subscribe to this stream, guys. If you're just joining, I apologize for the switch over. I don't know. Yeah, this should it should be the right one. I'm not sure why it bounced people to the other one. I've been flipping a lot of switches lately, so it's entirely possible that this is on me. But we got 100 people in the stream now, finally joining us. Let's see. I'll see if I can. We'll social alert this guy out here. And update. Dink. Ta-da.
Got 1 minute, Hal?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
YouTube says waiting on Hal Sparks. It's a different stream. So hold on 1 second. Let me try and fix that. New window. YouTube. It's very strange. You weird little piece of software, you. Okay, if you just go straight to the YouTube page or to, let's see, make sure it goes to... Make sure it goes straight to that one. That should work, I think. Yeah, straight to that one. That should work. Yep. There we go. Should be all right. There you go.
Now let's get back with Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Welcome back to the show. So, I think we've all got that worked out. Go to infotainmentwars.com to join the stream right now. It's at the top of your page, the proper chat. YouTube has this beta thing where they've got 2 streams going at once, and it's crazy pants. So I don't want you guys trapped in some poor little chat room by themselves. Like, how come no one loves us? But we've been here the whole time. No one's around. Well, yeah, it should be. Yeah, we're good. All right. Ooh, that's interesting. And our if you're so choosing, by the way, please help us out on Patreon, patreon.com/Hal Sparks. We've had a lot of people join from the Steph group. We really appreciate the support. It's been amazing. It's helping us expand exponentially over the last. We are the fastest growing progressive show on the internet and the radios, and we're very proud of that fact, especially after all these years. That usually only happens to brand new people who go from 1 to 2, and you're like 100% growth. I'm amazing. But in that, we get demonetized sometimes when we're talking about just having the word debate in my stream title. It got us knocked down a notch insofar as ad rev and stuff. That's so funny. They're these peculiar people. They're so concerned. We're nice people over here. They don't have to worry about us. They really don't. We are here. So Bob in our chat room is saying, Hal, what did you think of Mayor Pete's performance in the debate? I'm always impressed by Mayor Pete's performance in the debate, in conversation. He's invaluably articulate. His clarity and his directness is impressive. I think, again, we are... do I think he'll ultimately get the nomination for president? No, I do not. Do I think we've heard the last of him, or do I think he stalls out as mayor in Indiana? No. I think there is a direct through line for Mayor Pete to Senator Buttigieg or Governor Buttigieg to Senator Buttigieg, bypassing Congress entirely just by putting himself on the national scene this way. I think he'd be a valuable addition to any administration. I think he's an incredibly smart, kind, intelligent human being. I think I've said this before, as impressive as he is, I think his last name is unpresidential, and that's one of the things that hamstrings him. I think that's absolutely true. And yes, the idea of Vice President Buttigieg, absolutely a possibility. There's also, as a veteran, he would be a great addition to the civilian side of the military in the U.S. In the administration, whomever's that would be, because he, like great generals, has a broad recognition of why a strategy is necessary in the circumstances we find ourselves in. How do I put this gingerly? Across the globe, and yet an attachment to the soldier that is in the field. that is acute enough and close enough to him that he doesn't forget it, right? So yes, absolutely. Vote Vets PAC are pushing him for him because there's a couple of reasons. One is he's a completely qualified person. Let's be completely honest. Like, there may be things he'd have to learn on the job, but speaking as many languages as he does and being as smart and obviously having the depth of thought that he has, he'll certainly learn on the job faster than the current occupant. And again, the standards set by Donald Trump and George W. Bush, who are absolutely cut from the same cloth, largely puppets, figureheads, appealing to a section of the electorate while other people behind the scenes hand them stuff to sign. This is, and there's been a through line this by the way, since Reagan, I would argue. Or I guess technically since Nixon resigned, the Republican Party's methodology for electoral success, insofar as presidential politics, has been a president who is the face of the party and the link to the voter, and a vice president and or a behind-the-scenes cabal of advisors and I guess a mix of Falwell's and Heritage Foundation folk that whisper in their ear like Rasputin and tell them, do this and you'll be loved. That kind of thing. And this is careful. Like, obviously, the Bush presidency was a Cheney presidency. Obviously, the Trump presidency is a Heritage Foundation presidency because they're the ones who handed him the list of judges. The list of judges is the single defining characteristic that is keeping Republicans clinging to him more than any other. It's the biggest part of his claims for success, besides claiming success for the economy, which, interestingly enough, when a Democrat is in office and a Democrat is president, clearly the president has nothing to do with the business success. You can't equate the growth in the Dow or unemployment figures to any action of a government entity or the president at all whenever there's a Democrat in office. And even when they're good, they're a lie, right? I mean, look at the Obama era. Comes in after the Republicans had scuttled the entire economy. Hank Paulson in flop sweat as he's running out the door. The stock market's at 6,400 when Obama takes office. It's at 19,600 when he leaves. The stock market up 13,000 points basically since, from when Obama enters and when he leaves. But if you listen to Fox News or the punditry, the president has nothing to do with the economy. That's all hardworking Americans and CEOs and people who really know business, and people in the government don't know anything about. Never mind the fact that, by the way, even those people do better under Democratic administrations. But Obama, nothing to do with the writing of the dragging the Titanic away from the iceberg. And then the actual growth but suddenly, when Donald Trump's in office, it's 100% me. This is all me. I don't even listen to anybody else. It's 100% over here. And it's absurd. It's absurd. But they let him get away with it. It is, and one of the things, by the way, I think they should be called on. I thought during Obama, you said the president doesn't, governmental policies don't affect the economy. Nobody in the government makes a job. Nothing they do positive ever helps. Even though stuff went up, it was just an accident. Even though it went up, by the way, at an exponentially higher rate than it has under Trump. P.S. Democrats are the party of tax and spend. But the deficit hit $1 trillion for the first time in August under Trump. So, and I will get to some of the other debate performances as well. Act makes a really good point about Yang's money offer. It did sound like vote buying. I don't know how the person who supports his campaign, who takes that money, doesn't vote for him. And one case of vote buying is a case of vote buying. You don't, and ultimately, I mean, the entire UBI concept could be perceived as vote buying in general. But, since it would theoretically continue past his presidency, I guess you could get around it that way. But certainly in terms of the campaign, that's curious, one would think. So, there's a myriad of areas where debate-wise, I felt like there was some functionality to this debate for the first time, which I appreciated. There was actually it seemed like there was more conversation going on. Certainly you had, big shock moments like Beto's, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15 moment, which strategically, preaches to the choir and sounds great. Is it good for national electoral politics at this point? That's the debatable part. And that was the argument made by Biden and others, that there's been a sea change. And there's been a definite shift in how this country feels about guns. Now, again, this is like inviting people to the party and who shows up. You can send out 100 invites because everybody says they're coming, but 20 people are going to show up. There is an element of this, of guns, where saying, yeah, we're going to seize your AR-15s, where the fallback is a buyback and limitations on open carry and a grandfathering of ownership before a certain point, and you just can't sell them in the United States, and you can't sell them to anybody else, and you can't buy parts for them, and the ammo is restricted, and if you are caught making a 3D printing a bigger mag or trying to buy one on the internet, it's a federal offense, those kind of things. So those are crucial to what will actually get through. And the idea is that is this a situation where Democrats are effectively in the process of a debate negotiating with the American people by going further than than total accepted point, and when we back up, we actually get what we want. And Fab Third in the chat room is saying tax the ammo on Periscope, and I think that's absolutely that there should be, because of the damage caused, different types of ammo should be taxed at different rates. There absolutely should be limitations on anything that qualifies as an anti-personnel weapon, meaning that it is only meant to kill multiple people. It is not a self-defense weapon unless you're in a foxhole. And if you want a functioning, normal society, why would you want those things out and about? And none of these folks who are for open carry AR-15s, who are walking around in front of courthouses going, this is my right and I'm going to show it off, would be very happy if in Dearborn, Michigan, or parts of Minnesota, people started walking around with them or marching towards Oklahoma. Just, hey, we're open carrying. You can't even bug me. Even stand your ground doesn't cover this because you've lowered the standard so much. And again, do we want to move back to the Wild West? Is that the goal? And is this an area where people who are feeling pushed out of the skilled job market, who've lost manufacturing jobs, is this their emotional fallback for worth? Is this a symptom rather than the disease itself? Is the gun culture and the vulnerability that's attached to it, is that actually, a factor of people feeling useless in a society and constantly believing that they're victimized? That is absolutely a conversation worth having. And if so, then the messaging and the conversation has to be drafted in that way instead of the instant relation to erectile turgidity and genital size that it goes to automatically, which I absolutely have attached to, have in the past engaged in, let's say. So we got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. It's the House Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
This is Gary Menzel from Roofers and Waterproofers Local 11. Young adults graduating from high school are at a crossroad. Go to college or go directly into the workforce. Can they afford college?
I'm getting news my way.
Out alone. How much debt will they
CPT.
have when they graduate? Will they be able to find the right job out of college? And what will their starting pay be? College isn't right for everyone.
You're absolutely right, Hal Vickery. That Devin, can you kill the news feed my way? The commercial feed?
Outside.
Thank you. And no worries. You're absolutely right, Hal Vickery. The Wild West was not all that wild. Lots of towns had those, and that was a natural expression of that. We'll talk about that when we come back, because I think that's a super important point. I love how people want to go back to a system, that we tried. Going back to a version of the past. Like we didn't get to where we are through mitigatory answers to problems as they cropped up. And that we wouldn't get right back to the same place and still have the same issues to work through. See Greg Powell's piece on how the last North Carolina 9th election was also stolen? Yes, I did. We'll talk about that in the next hour. The Wild West would have been fun with Uzis and AR-15. Well,
60 seconds.
Thanks. You can argue there would have been a lot fewer people, and in a Doc Brown kind of way, you probably wouldn't exist right now if they had. I was just coming in, okay, like scrolling back on that. Well, that's, John M. Connery, that's the trick, right? Maybe you can buy AR-15s, but they have to be pink with Hello Kitty stickers on it, and the guys who normally buy them won't like that very much and will feel weird. I would agree with that. I think that's true of most of the top tier candidates. Maybe not Bernie, but that's a question. I don't know how well he plays well with others. And I certainly don't expect him to roll other people in. Welcome back to the show. So one of the things we were talking about in the chat room, by the way, infotainmentwars.com is the YouTube site. If you want to come and join us and join in the chat, 773-763-9278 is our number. We're here every Saturday, 9 to 11 Pacific time, 11 to 1 Central. Do the rest of the math for across the rest of the world, because we are mega worldwide for a reason. We do stream everywhere. We're on Facebook right now. We're on YouTube right now. We're on Periscope right now. We're on Twitch right now, twitch.com/HalSparks. I'm doing it all. Thanks largely, by the way, to Rob Glenn, bless his heart, for gifting us a new computer. That's so Rob, I want to thank you on air. Bless you for helping us improve the quality of the stream and our ability to put it out and all that stuff as well. It was an immeasurable difference. He had offered early to help us with our audio problems that we were having with the station. We solved that through another source. So he said, well, I'd still like to help, and improving our way of pipelining video into the internet was his way of helping, and getting a new laptop for the show. And so it came. It was a gift. I was overwhelmed. It was a lovely addition. And with that, along with the Patreon people that have been helping. We have improved our cameras, our lighting, our graphics, and obviously the services that we use to be able to stream everywhere. So wherever you're joining us from, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And Monday, patrons, 4 o'clock, there will be a private stream. You can join Patreon, and even though it won't process for a month, you can still join us if you would like to. And we'll talk about all kinds of things, because I want to strategize, and we'll talk about this in the next hour about how important this next election cycle is. And I want to launch a program starting in November where we're all on the same page, making sure that we are dedicating ourselves to not only voting ourselves and bringing, someone with us to the polls on election day, or getting people registered who aren't registered, who we know, but also really reaffirming the value and the importance of voting across the board. Because it is, I think, the scuttling of our attitude towards voting itself that has caused more damage over time. The illusion that our government is not representative of who we are, that has allowed people who are not representative of who the nation is to take over the government by being the only ones who vote. It's ridiculous. And we'll talk about more of that in the next hour, because it gets more important as the days go. And again, this is the seating of the court, the Supreme Court, should be motivation enough for anybody, but I mean, you shouldn't even need that. You should just simply understand that every soldier who has ever died has died supporting your right to make a choice, even one they disagree with. And that in and of itself is an honorable reason to drive yourself to the voting polls. If you need more, so when we talk about the strategy amongst the Democrats going into this, next month, I feel like it will be a little bit of the same. I'm curious to see. The love fest for Obama was perceived pleasantly by most of the Democratic electorate, especially, and the general electorate at large, it seems. 14 million people watched it. That's a lot of people and not a lot of people. You have to understand that also when you're talking to people, because a lot of us who drink from the fire hose of news every day because we've developed a taste for it. We definitely have a different take, and a deeper take perhaps, or a more entrenched take than a lot of people that are, they fold in and out of the news cycle, right? And while everyone is, let me lay out some contrast for you. That while everyone was watching the debates and talking about how those went on, a couple of news stories broke that I think should give you a sense of balance in how you perceive criticism and actions from people who are on your side versus the actual person you're dealing with as an opponent in an election. And there was a story that came out, I think, let's see, I don't know which newspaper this, Wall Street Journal reported this on Friday, that at the G7 meeting, Trump actually looked out over a gathering of American and Egyptian officials and called out in a loud voice, "Where's my favorite dictator?" Trying to speak to the literal. I mean, even as a joke, that's frightening. But his comfort with that, and his genuine meaning of it is incredibly concerning. That's his idea of a joke. A Democratic president of the United States of America, the quote-unquote leader of the free world, at a meeting of G7 leaders is yelling, "Where's my favorite dictator?" to the Egyptian prime minister. And this is not, obviously, Trump has this thing about my everything, my where's my. Well, some of you may not know this, But Trump's African American, the guy he called my African American, has not only stopped supporting Donald Trump, he has left the Republican Party, and he's running as an independent. We'll talk about Gregory Cheadle and the importance of voting and the importance of recognizing, enemies from frenemies, and and the complexity of dealing with that issue when we come back. It's the House Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide. Stick around. We'll be back right after the news. Infotainmentwars.com. We're streaming. Join us there. And feel free to support the show through Super Chat, PayPal, or Patreon.com. We'll be back. So, let's see. I'm going to roll back and look through the chat here to catch up with you guys. Can we duplicate the excitement and turnout of the 2018 midterms? That statistically seems to be the way things are going. Now, we don't count your chickens before they hatch. That's for damn sure. But if we can keep up that momentum and he continues to act the way he's doing, and the people start recognizing the damage he's doing to farmers with his kind of slapdash attitude towards tariffs, then I think there's absolutely a chance it will be those kind of numbers. Yes, if you don't want to wear the patch, you can make it a refrigerator magnet. That's absolutely true. Hey, Billy, welcome to the thanks for joining us. And Natalie, I trust you're in here now as well. And Can't Stop Lying, good to see you. We shall see what we shall see. Let me see if I can, where are we? Advanced, where's the, I gotta check all these. We'll just scroll down in here. Oh, thank you, Billy, so much. I didn't see that. Thank you for the super chat, Billy. I appreciate that. The Hal Sparks only living person to have read the entire ACA award. This is true. I'm always amazed that people don't think that through. And you'll also notice, by the way, that no Republican holds up the defense appropriations bill, which is that big every single time, and says no one has read this. And there are points in that, by the way, there are parts of the defense appropriation bill that are effectively redacted from view, that committee members themselves have to look at, in a skiff and go, yeah, the money's going where we hope it's going. Or literally go, that's money where nobody can know where it's going, because if anybody knew where it's going, everybody knows where it's going. I mean, that's the $500 hammers, right? And let's be abundantly clear. What kind of a maniac actually thinks you should know everything your military or your intelligence service is doing at all times, or that there should be public hearings that talk about it at all times? Like, that's just goofy. Like TV signals end at our borders. Like YouTube stops, like we're all in the honor system or something. It's just ridiculous. But that's all the more reason why you must focus on who you're putting in office and trust the representatives that you have to literally, when they're in that skiff, go, no. This is not what Congress okayed. This is a misappropriation of funds, or after the fact to have hearings and do something about it. Who can beat Trump in a debate? I would argue that Trump would have he'd have a hard time against Harris for sure, Biden for sure, Buttigieg for sure. I mean, most of them would give him a run for his money, or I guess Deutsche Bank's money or Russia's money. But I think there are a couple of cheap shots that he could get in on Warren and Sanders that would let him walk away with a perception of a win, even if what he said was materially false in the perception game. And and if I trusted the resilience of the left and as both a voting bloc and as a reliable voting bloc, then I would feel differently. But again, I've said this before. There's no president who at some point doesn't have to order some sort of military action. And there are certain people on that stage that the minute they do it, all of their support runs for the hills. Their base. Sanders' base, and I think to some degree Warren's base at this point. Now, we will see, because as we move forward, both of them are going to have to burnish their foreign policy credentials beyond simply sort of an isolationist view. And what I would state that is sort of the Rwanda question. Maybe I don't think any of them up there would get into, post another 9/11, would get into Iraq. Another Iraq situation where we would attack a country. But but at some point there's going to be a need, and it won't all be community based. You'll go to the UN, and the UN won't want to act on something that's crucial. And there will be representative groups in the United States, because we are a more diverse country than a lot of these other countries, who will have more of a play in electoral politics and certainly more of a voice, that will ask for that help, that assistance, that intervention. And, what do you do in that situation? Again, you can't fear complexity. Yes, so. Thanks, Billy. I got a little more sleep than usual, too.
You're listening to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
I've had people walk out of me before, but not when I was being so charming.
Video streaming at halsparks.com.
I don't care for you or for the putrid slut you're troweling out.
Or if you let them.
Might be a good time for you guys to give up.
So welcome to the show. If you're joining us in the second hour, it's the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide. We're on WCPT every Saturday. Thank you for joining us. We also stream on YouTube, and we do a post show afterwards on our YouTube channel. Where, I think you can, some people are watching us on Facebook. Say hi if you're watching us on Facebook. If you're watching us on Periscope, chime into the chat. We'd love to hear from you. But the post show will be done solely on YouTube, so join us there if you would like and subscribe to the channel. Smash that like if you're in the chat room right now. Consider becoming a Patreon. All that normal YouTube boilerplate stuff. Now, again, while there was an argument between Julian Castro and Biden, and this idea that, again, I think Castro taking a failed feather out of Harris's cap and making a huge mistake in going after Biden in the way that he did was, I think, exacerbated by the fact that he was materially wrong about what Biden was talking about. That people who are between jobs might choose to buy in. They would have to opt in. But people who qualify for Medicaid and Medicare as it is now would automatically be enrolled. That it would cover everyone who were impoverished to the point where they could not get it, which would apply, by the way, to Julian Castro's example of his grandmother. So, and Castro going after him, going, you don't even remember what you said 2 minutes ago, was actually Castro not understanding what Biden had said 2 minutes ago. And I think that was the worst part of it. Not even the cheap shot at his age, which I think is gross, and you guys see me push back against this all the time on Twitter. I think the problem with using anyone's race, age, or gender, or sexual orientation, even if you think they are the dominant group or in charge in that point, is that you open the floodgates for the use of those as pejoratives in the name of equality. And that's a dangerous road to go down, especially when we're in a situation where in the Democratic Party, we would like to talk about the merits of the process and of the bills and plans themselves. So Trump had this thing where he, many of you will remember him going, "Where's my African American?" You remember that dude? We never got a chance to see him in that. It was just this weird, that pointing that Trump does. Where is he? There, yeah. That man's name is Gregory Cheadle. Spelled differently, I think, by the way, than Don Cheadle. I think Don Cheadle spells it with, does he spell it with 2 E's? And Gregory spells it with EA. But anyways, he's apparently, over the last 2 years, become increasingly frustrated with Trump's rhetoric on race. I can't imagine why. And his the lack of diversity in his administration. I would argue it's not even about the lack of diversity. It's this sort of hostile, dismissive form of diversity when he does have it. Because I'm one of those people who went, well, of course he put Ben Carson in charge of HUD because he perceives HUD as a black-only problem, and he'll quiet that problem by going, well, who are the black people going to interact with most in my administration? Because I'm certainly not going to deal with them in terms of commerce and other stuff. So, HUD, that'll quiet him down. I think that I'm not the only one that struck as like overtly the simplified racism that he has in his head about his idea of what people are like. This is beyond the belief of white supremacy, which you can argue about. I think he just has Trump supremacy. But certainly in the case of this, he certainly views other races through a very distinct lens. Historically, not wanting black accountants, only Jewish ones at the firm that was doing his books, that kind of stuff. So, obviously, a warped mind. So, after 2 years of frustration with the president's rhetoric on race and the lack of diversity in the administration, Cheadle told PBS NewsHour he has decided to leave the Republican Party and run for a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives as an independent in 2020. Now, did that bring him to the Democratic Party? No, it did not. He's running as an independent. Now, the 62-year-old real estate broker who supported the Republican approach to the economy says he sees the party as pursuing, quote, a pro-white agenda and using black people like him as political pawns. You think? I mean, oh my God. That should have struck you like a lightning bolt, one would think, right when he said, where's my African American? Oh my God. What's the delay on feeling horrified? Because I can't, certainly in the chat room, but like clearly within the sound of my voice, I think most people listening, when they heard that, even if you were a supporter or a Republican who was kind of on the fence, like, well, I guess he's the nominee, he's the president now, so what am I going to do? Even those folks kind of, did one of the, wait a minute. Yeah, there, Billy in our chat room, where's my Hispanic / Asian? Yeah, there was no point, I don't think, where he said, where's my Hispanic? And there was a big story on the news yesterday about Latinos for Trump and all, like, they exist. That's not, no group is a monolith, and nor should they be in a democracy. But I think it's really, that was a standout moment, I think, for most people. Where's my African American? Like, the fact that you would say it like that, the fact that you perceive it as like that you would use the word my is grotesque. And then even in that moment pointing out there's only one. Like, that's not something. Was that part of the reset? Okay, guys, this is the Republican reset with minorities and marginalized communities. We're gonna you see one, claim it. I don't know what the heck that is. So the final straw for Cheadle came when he watched many Republicans defend Trump's tweets telling 4 congresswomen of color who are all American citizens to go back to their countries, as well as defend the president's attacks on Elijah Cummings and his comments on Cummings' hometown of Baltimore as infested. Yeah. Yeah, one would think those would be moments where you'd go, I like this guy's faux stance on religious freedom that the Heritage Foundation is pumping through him like a human centipede throwing up. But yeah, That's a bridge too far, methinks. And let's see. President Trump is a rich guy who is mired in white privilege to the extreme, said Cheadle of Redding, California, who switched from being an independent to a Republican in 2001. Republicans are too sheepish to call him out on anything, and they are afraid of losing their position and losing any power themselves. Thursday afternoon, when asked by NewsHour on the White House lawn about Cheadle leaving the Republican Party, President Trump claimed he has a lot of support from African-American voters. We have tremendous African-American support, Trump told NewsHour. I would say I'm at my all-time high. I don't think I've ever had the support that I've had now. I think I'm going to do very well with African Americans. African American support has been the best we've had. Is it? What'd he go from? I think he's gone down from like 7 to 3. Did he go from 7 to 2 and then go back up to 3? And he considers that the 7 was before he got elected and before he said all that stuff? And that, or, well, I can't know because that's absurd. It's ridiculous. Yeah, how big? Yes, the all-time high currently is 3%, which, maybe it's a 2% because it's Diamond and Silk. Because I don't even think he's got Candace Owens at this point. I think the Republican Party does, but there's a lot of people who are sort of looking at themselves as the future of conservatism, who support policies of Trump but don't like him. I've said, abundantly, you see this again and again on YouTube, this increase in, what would be right-wing and conservative YouTubers who used to tacitly, either overtly support Trump and his policies, move to tacitly support Trump and his policies, to now ridicule Trump while still supporting some of the policies, while going, I'm not sure about these policies. That seems to be the gap. So let's take a break. We'll be back right after this. I think we may have some callers on the line, so we'll reach out to there, 773-763-9278. And thank you to all of our viewers for joining us today, both in YouTube and in Periscope and in all these variant groups. It's nice to have you all with us. I gotta see if this. Where's that guy? Where's the? There it is. Gotta try to get this chat situation happening where I can see it, so I know everybody's going on. What's going on? There you are. Natalie, you can see fine now. Everything's good. Oh, the Mike Pounce thing was hilarious. Yeah. And yeah, Bruce, by the way, that's an incredibly important point because 3% is within the margin of error. If your support is 3%, it could also be negative 1.5% in theory. If the margin of error is 5 or 6%, which it often is in these polls, you could be at negative 3. You could be full on underwater with that. Like, I don't know how you get negative completely with a group of people, except it's like they add the, okay, these are number. These people don't like you. This group, this subset of that group really hates you. So, and they're the ones who vote and turn out and show up more often than anything else. That is entirely possible. The Mike Pounce, right? It's nice when you labeled your vice president as a cat treat. Where's my son? You know, what's his name? Yeah. Did you guys see the little pop-up video I did this week on that? Holy smokes. Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll pull that up for 1 second.
Also have 4 callers, Hal.
Oh, right on. Let's see, grab my profile, go through some stuff. They're so... I'm streaming 3 times on my own Twitter feed. It's crazy. I think it's because I pop back on and pop back off again. Hi. Thanks, Clarity. Appreciate it.
It's Tom Hartman, and you're listening to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT.
So, this was also the week, if some of you saw, I jumped on my YouTube channel because I was working on, working out the kinks, trying to make some progress. And in the course of doing it, there was Trump at some point was talking about, here, I think I can pull the audio up on this is, so Trump wants to deal with the vaping issue, right? And this week, and we'll get into why Republicans and libertarians should be freaking out. Do people, they talk about the slippery slope when it comes to guns all the time. Do they not understand that banning flavors, but not the actual content of the actual e-cigarettes is a marketing thing, and you could effectively ban the shape of guns the same way? It's a single-shot rifle. Okay, well, you can't sell a single-shot rifle that looks like a machine gun. How about that? Or it's got to be orange. There's a through line from Trump's, vaping regulations that he wants to put in place to AR-15s and any replica gun having a giant Hello Kitty sticker on it as a warning. But this is Trump talking about his perception of how vaping starts.
We have a problem in our country. It's a new problem. It's a problem that nobody really thought about too much a few years ago, and it's called vaping, especially vaping as it pertains to innocent children. And they're coming home and they're saying, Mom, I want a vape. And the parents don't know too much about it, and nobody knows too much about it. But they do know it's causing a lot of problems, and we're gonna have to do something about it. That's his perception of how people interact as human beings. In terms of that's how a kid talks to their parents. In the Donald Trump world, the guy, by the way, who told Howard Stern he doesn't change diapers and raise kids because that's woman stuff, right? So, and then, who refers to his own child this way. Hold on.
And that's how the First Lady got involved. And she's got a son together that is
she's got a son. She's got a son together.
That's how the First Lady got involved. And she's got a son together that is a beautiful young man. And that's how the First Lady... she's got a son together. She's got it together when it comes to having a son. Yeah. Let's grab a caller because I want to get to them before we get to the middle of the break. So the mid-hour break. Who do we have on the line first?
First, we got John out in Niles, Michigan.
Excellent. Hey, John, welcome to the show. Oh, you're very quiet. He's very quiet coming my way. You can bring him up a little bit. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Wow, found some. What else did you guys find over there?
I can hear you, Devin. I can't hear him. This is great. Sorry, John. I apologize. I'm hearing Devin and everybody talking in the control room, but I'm not hearing the caller. I'm hearing him through headphones. I think through someone else's headphones, feed wise. So hold there for a second, John. I don't want us to lose your thought entirely. We'll get back to him in a second. But yeah, I was just hearing the inner working chit chat of the of the engineers. That's okay. Devin, let me know when we can get him pumped through where I can hear him. So, yeah, thanks. Is he there? Do we have him? Can we give that a try?
Right now?
I think so. I can't hear him right now. So I apologize, John. That's a routing issue on that side. There we go. Now I hear him. That sounds loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
Perfect.
I thought Bernie did an excellent job. Members of the audience even booed when Biden said that he believed in insurance-provided health care.
In insurance, what? Say that last part.
The health insurance, booed at it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what was the stand-up part of that particular policy? I'd love to hear your take on, on that debate, because I liked the fact that we got at least into the substantive debate mechanically, cost-wise, implementation. So yeah, what did, to your ears, what was the better part of that?
Well, the better part is that Medicare for all is far, far better and far less expensive than what Biden's arguing for. And members of the audience even booed. Biden said he believed in the insurance-provided health care.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So
okay.
Biden is going back to the reason that Trump is president is because of the DNC, the corporate aligned DNC.
Well, I would disagree. I mean, Hillary Clinton won by 3 million votes in the popular vote. There were 75,000 electoral college votes in electoral college crucial states that tipped it to Donald Trump's favor. It wasn't a sweep. And in many ways, you could argue the inverse, that people who were, that had a chip on their shoulder about what they perceived as the DNC's actions didn't vote for president and gave it over to him. Arguably, there's no aspect of it where, the DNC limited voting by those folks. It was an unfortunate choice that they made in those very important electoral states.
The DNC had a lot to do with rigging the primaries.
Rigging the primaries?
Yes, rigging the primaries from state to state, from Iowa to Nevada to California, many states. The DNC is screwing themselves, and more importantly, they're screwing the people.
Well, I think the DNC prioritized a Democrat and the first female president who was viable to run for president in their eyes, and didn't want to leave that on the table, and arguably looked at Sanders as a carpetbagger and acted accordingly. You can disagree with that point of view, and you can, and I would have a easier time dealing with Sanders as, as a, running as a Democrat if he had stayed one after the fact, and, but he seems to only join the Democratic Party or the DNC when he's running for president, as opposed to being an independent. Now, you could say he's doing that specifically so that he doesn't cut against the Democrat, but that's effectively what happened last time around. This time, I'm curious what you think his chances are in this, versus Warren, for example. What's your feeling about, because she's a straight ahead Democrat in this process, and they share a lot of traits.
Republican into the 1990s.
Who?
She was a Republican into the 1990s, and she's talking to Hillary at this point, and she said she was capitalist to the bone.
Well, yeah, we're in a capitalist country. So is Bernie in regards. He's a democratic socialist as far as electoral politics, but he's not.
It feeds on itself.
Well, I mean, are you suggesting that Bernie wants to nationalize all industries, for example?
No, Bernie has said he does not want to nationalize
Right.
industry. He said he doesn't want to be a dictator like the dictator in Venezuela.
Sure.
He wants a country like Canada or Scandinavia.
Right, which are capitalist countries with a good social safety net. Right.
But he didn't emphasize capitalist to the bone.
Yeah, but that's, the perception of how people perceive, from a voter standpoint across the independent spectrum, for example, is a hostility towards overt socialism, meaning the nationalization of industries or whatever. And a lot of those people need a reassurance of that. And I think that's what she was doing. I don't think, do you really perceive Elizabeth Warren as, as sort of that level of a corporatist, honestly?
I think that she's not that level, but she's certainly not a Bernie Sanders.
Well, no, of course she isn't. And Bernie Sanders isn't an Elizabeth Warren. She doesn't have the same sort of plans and priorities that she has. And there's obviously an importance to people debating the value of those things or whatever. But effectively, this sounds like internal backbiting more so than a real.
No, it's not.
Sure, it does. I mean, if you're calling her out for being a Republican till in the 90s.
And not caving to capitalists.
So,
corporations.
well, here's a great example. Bernie changed his position on guns to get elected. He moved to the right. He was to the right of Hillary Clinton on guns when he ran the first time, and when he ran as an independent in Vermont. He has an F now because he. No, it's true, though.
Things way out of context.
But you just said that Warren should be held to a certain standard because she was a Republican in the 90s. And I'm telling you about past policies that Bernie has had, that he actually still has, technically, as far as guns go. He hasn't moved in that direction. And I don't hold that against him necessarily. I just think that's
way out of context here.
Well, looking at Elizabeth Warren as a Republican is, I would argue, way out of context, wouldn't you?
No, it's not at all.
Okay, well then that's where we disagree on that. I appreciate the call. Thanks. At no point does that actually help us in a functional argument, because it literally shifted. Yeah, well, never mind. Well, we got to take a break. We'll be back with that. If you can't see the hole in that argument, I mean, you can like Bernie and you can appreciate his policies. But doing it at the expense of the people who are on the stage right now, whatever grudge you might have against the perception of Hillary Clinton, who, again, by the way, running as a Democrat, who'd been a Democrat, who campaigned for Democrats, was always a Democrat, and then expecting the DNC to give the same deference to an independent who's effectively trying to create a coup within the party, as it were, take over it, use it as a super PAC, effectively. Which may be a smart strategy. That's fine. But anyways, we'll be back. Summer got me a mug.
Do this all on 3.
Thank you. So that was better. That worked. I don't know was there a switch flipped?
I just had to turn them on and off again, and that seemed to do the trick.
That's what it works more often than I would like to admit.
I got Paul and Nikos here. We got someone I want to tell you.
Yeah?
Sorry, Hal. Sorry for talking during your show.
That's okay. No, it wasn't your fault. You didn't know you were on mic. Why would you think so? It was literally, I was hearing the caller, I think, through a set of headphones sitting next to a mic. That's what happened. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. And I could tell you guys were like, I don't know. What's it? I think it's over here. It just sounded like you were working out. So I appreciate it. No worries. It is yes. My mug is very heavy metal. It's very cool. Summer just knows I like wide mouth glasses because I drink out of that giant mason jar, and when I only have one that's like that, so she found one. This is the best she could do. I love it. So thank you, Summer. Love you. Honest to God, I have.
In 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you. Honest to God, I just have very little patience for people who want to relitigate Sanders' fight with Clinton at this point. And if they still have a chip on their shoulder about this batch, I mean, really? You're that much of a Bernie bro that Warren is she's now the Goldman Sachs candidate? Is that how we're going to play this? Oy, God.
I'm Dick Cave from Back on the Beat, and here is the Mega Worldwide Radio Program with Hal Sparks.
Welcome back to the show. So I think we got some more callers on the line, and we'll be able to hear them just fine now. So let me get to them. Who do we have, Devin?
Next, we have Bob out in Indiana.
Excellent. Hey, Bob, welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, Hal.
Hello.
Well, just listening to you over my little 1918 Radio Shack here.
Excellent.
that last caller you had,
Yes.
do you think in any way, shape, or form he could have been a troll?
Sure. I think that's entirely possible. But I will also speak to people in terms of legitimately having a conversation with them. And again, I've said this before, because I believe in, at the very least, even when someone is being disingenuous, I'm talking past them to the person who may share some of the same ideas that they are co-opting in an attempt to start a fight that doesn't need to exist, that I will try and be as respectful in those circumstances as I can possibly be. That being said, I certainly on a personal level have a low tolerance for people who are still litigating the Bernie Clinton fight in the primaries last time as if it's the fault of anybody on the stage right now. You know what I mean? Like that is crazy talk. And
the way he kept going around in circles on that stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of had that smell, you know?
Yes, I agree. I agree. And again, even if it isn't, it sounds like it was seeded by trolls, because there's a lot of that going around too. You'll see. I mean, that's the whole point of the Russian meddling in our elections, and the Saudis doing it too, and the Chinese. There are different groups doing this, but they hire the same people. And the goal is to be online 24 hours, drifting everybody towards the same argument, or fomenting dissent where there is none, or ratcheting up normal dissent to the point where a conversation cannot occur. And I think a lot of people, you have no reason to think it's not genuine sometimes, and it's kind of rude to insist someone is, especially online right away, as touchy as, when you're typing something, how people take it is rough anyways. But on top of that, if you're just kind of going, look, dude, I think you're wrong about this, is fighting words. If you're talking to a troll, they're just going to ratchet that up like into the immediate hyperbolic name calling, all that kind of stuff. And then the people who listen to them, who've been led to believe that this troll or this fake account are on their side, will start parroting some of the points they hear. And you can see the exact same language in this, and so even if he wasn't a troll, you can almost see him parroting troll talking points in that circumstance. So I don't think you're off in that regard. That being said, I think a lot of people, there's an activist culture that can get swept up easier into the psyop of manipulated online behavior easier than other people. Because I think some of us have an immediate tap the brakes, like, whoa. These are, hold on, we're talking to another person, relax. But if you look at a good portion, especially in the Twitterverse or on Facebook and these kind of things, these immediate flame wars that pop up, a lot of people, mixed in the match are genuine, but the people outside that are obvious trolls, that you can't quite tell who you're interacting with, and most of the time you're interacting with both at the same time. So again, like I think you're absolutely right. There's a possibility there, but I'll always address everybody as a human being as best I can, unless it's obvious that they're just jerking around, which a bunch of them do. Let's be honest. Yeah. So thanks for the heads up, and I appreciate the troll watching. We might have to make you like a verbal moderator. You could just call in when you're like, yeah, I've heard that guy on other shows. He's completely full of it.
I do hear a lot of that.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Like you can hear these. I hear them on when I'm listening to progressive talk. I'll hear the same callers call in. Some of them are good. We see. I got a bunch of regular callers who call into other shows, and I'm glad to have them. But you can also see these same troublemakers who act as spoilers, who at some point may have been legit back in the day. They're the Howard Stern Baba Booey crowd almost, or the Rush Limbaugh let's go cause some trouble, crowd that would get into the chat rooms and stuff of liberal talk just to mess around with people. Now they seem to be, kind of on their own. So it's harder to tell because you could check the overlap. But anyways, I appreciate the call. I'm going to grab another caller. It's awesome and well said. Always glad to hear from you. Who do we have, Devin?
Next we have Eduardo in Chicago.
Eduardo, excellent. Hey, Eduardo, welcome.
Hey, hello, yeah.
Go ahead.
Sunny day here.
Oh, hey. Right on. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about. You can hear me, right?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to talk about the Argentine IMF bailout.
Okay.
I think it's a bad idea. I think we should be helping more the people in the Bahamas. They're about to get another storm.
I would agree. I mean, I don't know that they're mutually exclusive. I think, quite frankly, the International Monetary Fund, I don't know how much control we would have over them bailing it out. I think the U.S. could certainly do more to help the Bahamians, and I certainly think the policy of insisting that people have previously have a visa or a travel visa if they're entering the country via any way but airplane is more of a Stephen Miller racist policy. But I don't know that, like, if you're talking about the IMF, when they bail out a country, I'm 100% suspect in those circumstances. This is different from foreign aid that we choose to give to countries that need it, or loan guarantees that even the World Bank does, I guess, to some degree, using a group of countries to back that up. Those always make me nervous, and when a country is on the brink anyways, because oftentimes to pay those things back, they end up having to either denationalize natural resources to pay it off, which is often the strategy of the IMF. I think direct aid through the Red Cross, through agricultural help, because we obviously have a lot of soybeans rotting in silos right now. That one of the ways we could do that is, we're giving billions of dollars to these farmers for these soybeans that are rotting in a silo. How about...
Yeah, they're trying to trade them all, yeah.
Yeah, send those to these countries that are in trouble. You know what I mean? We have the shipping capability. It would certainly raise our standing in the world. It's a much more functional use in those circumstances. It's like when, certain... restaurants and cafes have a policy of when they can't sell the bread because it's a day old, but they don't want to throw it out because it's still good, but there's rules about how long you can keep it because of the health department. It's still good food. You can donate it to a food bank or to a homeless shelter because it's for the next 6 days. This is healthy, good food. There could be a similar policy on a national level. In terms of excess food production, because God knows we produce more corn than we know what to do with, and it's basically a sugar food anyways. So it's not a food staple you need outside of an emergency. Right. So I think that's a better strategy, and I don't know that we have control directly over the IMF, and nor would we want it. I don't think any single country controlling the IMF is a good idea. Because that would also mean you were completely responsible for the actions of the IMF in those circumstances. So yeah,
sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, but you raise a really good point. And so far as the Bahamians, you could do the exact same thing. We absolutely have the ability to have our National Guard help. We should be doing. There needs to be a structure in place, and I appreciate the call because we're getting close to the break, and I might try to fit another one in, but it's a really good point. Yeah, appreciate it. We need, as a president, in the Sparks administration, one of the things you move into when you first get a new job, much less a position as a representative of a citizenry, is you plan for the things that you know are coming. You plan for the things that are odds on coming, and then you deal with a secondary either fund or mechanical service for things that that nobody can really predict but might happen. So what I would categorize that is as simple as a president, you get in and you plan your holidays and your speeches for those holidays. And it's a really simple thing. So you're not caught off guard by Black History Month or the 4th of July or Memorial Day or Labor Day or the holidays themselves, just simply dealing with a constituency. Let's have a strategy for reaching out to the American people on a personal level. Let's also deal with the fact that we're going to have a budget every year, and we're going to have to have strategy meetings to reach that budgetary point. So when that date comes due, we're not 2 weeks, oh, damn, budget's next week. like some college student who woke up in someone else's body, and suddenly you have, oh my God, like an alien walk-in or something. Secondarily, you go, we know we're going to have hurricanes. We know there's a potential for an earthquake across the country. We know that there's a potential for Mount St. Helens eruption, or Yosemite's supervolcano, right? Or a 900-year storm. So there's those two bifurcations. The first one is we know we're going to have tornadoes. We know we're going to have hurricanes. We know we're going to have issues with certain countries. So we set up, within the administration, a strategy to deal with those in a timely manner, and we check those off every single day. Where are we on that? Let's make sure that as we get closer to this thing, that we have something in process to do that. You also have, when you have Puerto Rico and Florida and the coast of Texas and North and South Carolina affected by hurricanes with some regularity, at least in every 2 years, getting some major damage, and that's happening, you prepare ahead of time. You strategize. You don't jack up your military to the highest level it's ever had when you're not beyond even World War II numbers as far as funding and machinery, if you're not also going to repurpose some of that machinery for the actual battles you're fighting, which are, we have a bunch of Americans stranded in a storm zone. That you prepare for the problems are coming. You set up a sort of a backdoor window for things that are outside the normal realm of possibility, but do occur, so that you're not pantsed by every circumstance. And especially when it comes to weather situations, like the hurricane that hit Puerto Rico, like the tornado alleys that go through a good portion of the Midwest. States are going to declare national emergency, states of emergency. You're going to have to declare a national emergency about some of those things. You're also going to know that there are going to be chemical spills. There are going to be major accidents. That there are going to be high-profile criminal circumstances. Police shooting unarmed black men will happen during your presidency. You better have a strategy to deal with it and tamp it down and stop it. You will have situations where there are the Terry Shivos of the world, or those kind of circumstances. And you have to go in knowing you are dealing with so many huge things that you can delegate what's important and is months away. And as you get closer to that window, because it happens during a certain period of time, your attention focuses on that. And you need to have... Because if you do, and this is to the caller's last point, and we got to take a break. If you do that, then you have a strategy in place that goes, what we used to help Puerto Rico, because we were on that, we were aware of the possibility of that kind of a storm. We were able to move in on Puerto Rico and fix it and help it and get it back on its feet as possible. So it wasn't hard to get over to the Bahamas. Take the same system. We have this in place. We can help. That's what you do when you're a powerful country with values. We'll be back. It's the House Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide, on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Thanks, Michael. I appreciate that. Thoughts and prayers, right? Well, that's, Hal Vickery, they're 70 miles away. That's my exact point. That if we'd had a structure in place to deal with Puerto Rico, which is absolutely 100% our responsibility, then we would also have the means and wherewithal to help people who are outside of our responsibility, but within our capability. I agree that the Bahamas should be getting more attention from the UK. I'm not surprised that they can't. I mean, they can't tell their ass from their elbow right now. So, yeah, we talked about Mayor Pete early on. You can always rewatch this too. That's great. Thank you guys for the super chats. I appreciate that as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the show. Give us a thumbs up. I don't know why that thing doesn't want to show the counter for some reason. We'll just take that out for the time being. Yeah. But what happened to values and morals? I seem to remember those. Okay, thank you. They can all work at Mar-a-Lago. No, they have to have visas and papers or whatever. They don't hire people who, right? True, and they're new. Yeah, I just think it's the most obvious thing. Like when you are going to be the leader of a giant country. You know what is within your capability, what is inside your locus of control, and what is outside. And you focus. I just got a email. Thanks again, Rob. You're awesome. Do conservatives see Canada, Germany, and Britain as managed economy failures? They still have sound economies. Conservatives think they have national health care. Our economy will collapse. Yeah, that's exactly what they believe.
Welcome back to the Hal Sparks radio program.
Which is odd because the rest of the time they seem to
now time for
hope for it.
Yay!
We only got a couple minutes left, and I think we got one more caller on the line, so let's grab them. I don't want to lose time before we get there and go out solidly. Who do we have, Devin?
Next, we're going out to Nancy in Oak Lawn.
Excellent. Hey, Nancy, welcome.
Hi, Hal. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, and I agree with a lot of the stuff you talk about.
Thank you.
I enjoy...
I'm
sorry?
There you go. That's better. Now I can hear you. There you go.
I enjoy listening to your program. Like I said, 99% of the time, we agree.
Okay.
The one thing we will never convince each other of is Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders.
Okay.
But, so let's just leave that.
Sure.
I would love to have lunch with you someday and just...
I love the idea as well. Yeah.
But anyway, and I know I'm going to get a lot of abuse, but, I'm used to it. I'm a 70-year-old broad. I can take it.
I don't think you're going to get a lot of abuse. You don't have to immediately go there. Yeah, although I'm
not talking about from you. I'm talking about from, the other listeners and stuff.
That's okay.
But
Here's the thing, too. Like, that's just so you know, that's how the right-wingers who call in as trolls talk. They always do that. They're like, I know you're going to shut me down or you're not going to disagree. So don't worry about it. Just, state your piece. We're all good.
All right. Well, the only thing I have to say is you just said it, that Hillary Clinton was always a Democrat, always supported the Democrats, on and on and on.
Yep.
She's not one of my favorite people, but I feel I have a chance. I have the right to speak up because I gave her my vote. I don't think she did squat with it, but I gave her my vote in 2016.
Well, she couldn't do squat with it. She's not president.
Pardon me?
She couldn't do squat with it, with your vote. She's not president.
Well, don't get me started on the campaign she ran. And believe me...
Oh, I won't. I'm just saying you said you gave her your vote and she didn't do squat with it. I'm like, you can't if you don't get in the office.
Okay.
Right?
Fine.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what she's supposed to do after the fact. Like, you can't...
was not always a Democrat. That's my point. She was a Goldwater gal. And
yeah, but in the 70s when she was fresh out of law school, for crying out loud, are we really going to relitigate people's souls all the way back to what they're... Even back then, what it meant to be that, or whether it was you went your own family's way. Again, I have way more patience and support of people who weren't always, on the left, who came to it through thought and consideration than people who were Jesus camped into it.
When you're on Bernie's case all the time, you're always saying, well, he's filed as he's registered as an independent. And he's more of a Democrat than most everybody else on that stage. And
well, then he should stay one.
So than Hillary.
Well, he should stay one.
Democrat all his life. He's fought for all the right, well, according to my opinion,
right.
the right causes and everything. And I don't see why he's registered as an independent or anything else, why that makes such a difference. You know, the old saying, a rose is a rose is a rose. So a rose.
I'll tell you why, because as an independent, he votes with Rand Paul a lot. To scuttle bills, and they neither one of them do it. It's mostly it's a symbolic gesture because it's not going to change the actual curtail of the vote. But they both he votes with Rand Paul on a bunch of these things all the time, and it is different. And if you're trying to marshal an idea, if you're trying to say we're all trying to you can. He's an independent because he chooses to be an independent, but he only chooses to be a Democrat when he runs for office. That's
because you have to be. If he ran as an independent, he wouldn't even get on the stage.
That's not true. He has a tremendous amount of support. Ron Paul managed to do it as an independent. Bernie Sanders absolutely could. He has you could argue he has the entire Occupy Wall Street army behind him when he first ran. He could get on. He totally could.
Two things that irk me.
Okay. That's okay. No. Here's the thing: we're not going to get anywhere relitigating Hillary versus Bernie, and it is absolutely meaningless. And what I am interested in is, do you agree with the earlier caller that somehow, by comparison, Warren is some sort of corporatist villain, Hillary 2.0?
No. Where did he get that?
I don't know.
Republican. I don't think she ever was.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. But
because believe me, if it were up to me, Warren would have been in there last time instead of Hillary. But
I think that was up to her. Yeah.
This country is more misogynist than it is racist, and I don't think we are going to get a woman president until she serves as vice president first.
Well, I think statistically, I disagree. I do not believe the country is more misogynist than it is racist. I think there are different groups that have those traits. I think the majority of the country is not misogynist. The majority of the country is not racist. But the pockets of misogyny and racism are deep and need to be rooted out. They have controls over certain levels of power. I think the example of the Georgia Secretary of State being able to control the election had more to do with Stacey Abrams not winning that election than the voters' feelings towards Stacey Abrams, which are, I believe she won that election on the merits, which would say that the majority of the country is not misogynist or racist. I think, but the people who are bulwark, yeah,
and not fight back with them. And I thought of the thing that I was thinking of before, about the Electoral College.
Sure.
I think it should be eliminated. But why did we not beef about it before the election rather than afterwards? Afterwards, it only makes you sound like a crybaby.
Well, I mean, it's obviously something that is very upsetting when you have the last I forget what the actual statistic is. Like, most of the people who win the Electoral College, win the popular vote as well, but the last Republicans have not. And it's something that's clearly a part of the strategy, right? We can talk about senatorial politics and the idea that every state that's really landowner politics. That the fact that the Senate, you have 2 senators from Montana, which has a fifth the people of Los Angeles County, right?
Totally.
Yeah. So the Electoral College, I think what you're going to see. And we talked about this maybe 3 weeks ago. I jumped on this because I said there's lawsuits going in place that electoral voters can vote their conscience and not with whatever the state law is, unless they specifically have an oath that they have to take, and they can't violate that oath. And a lot of states don't have that, while they're trying to join the group of states saying, okay, we're not going to undo the Electoral College anytime soon, but we are going to. Because it would take 60 vote majority, and there's the red states are never going to give that up because it would be the same as asking them to give up a senator. Why would they? It makes no sense. Even if you live there, you wouldn't be for it, right? So, but in terms of the states grouping together, look, when somebody wins the Electoral College, wins the popular vote, we're also going to give them the Electoral College. even for our state's votes will go to them. States grouping together to make sure that they do that. There's lawsuits filed to stop, to make people be able to scuttle that by not even voting for whoever the Republican is, by throwing it to an independent or a random person of their own choosing so their hands are clean. It's sketchy as hell. That being said, I think what we can come away with is right now the fight DNC versus Bernie Sanders does not exist. He's in there fair and square. He's running up against everybody else. He's behind Biden and Warren in places. He's in front of Warren or in front of Biden in other places. All that anger, all that fight is meaningless at this point, because whether you believe that they had it in for him or not, they certainly don't this time. And he's got to defend his policies just like everybody else. And that's a good thing. We'll see you next week. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. I'm glad we could talk about it. I hope we do get to have lunch sometime. Stick around for the post show in the YouTube channel. Please join us over there. If you're on Facebook or Periscope, hop over and see us over there, or Twitch. Say hi. And we will see you next week. There we go. So I'm going to pop us off the other streams right now. Thank you guys for joining us on Twitter. We'll see you guys next time. Join us over here. Everybody on Twitch, got a special love for you guys. We'll see you when we get the game system set up. I was working on it last night. Thanks, everybody, for helping me work out the kinks on that as well. We'll see you soon. Facebook, if you're on Facebook, come over and join us. Have a conversation over in the YouTube channel, infotainmentwars.com. And like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and there you go. And I think we're alone now. There doesn't seem to be. All right. Hi, YouTube. It's just us. There you go. We are there. So thanks, CPT. I'm hanging up now. You guys are awesome. Bye-bye. Till they hung up, and they're gone, and then we go, and we turn off that thing. Some people can't talk without their hands. Beto has the same problem with the obese orange. Twitter troll has some very weird hand gestures also. Did you notice the shift in Bernie's hand gestures? They're telling him to point less. So he's doing the emu beak, and he's doing He's doing he's doing chop hands. Yeah, I think totally, Jersey. I think a lot of people feel that way or whatever. There's just, this idea that there needs to be hard feelings is the problem. Thanks. Jim's nuzzling me. Thank you. We're all by ourselves. How to get a Series 4 deatomizer? Oh, that thing in the background? The gun in the case? That's actually a prop from Lab Rats. That's the... that was a post-show gift from the execs because they knew I liked it. It's a 3D printed model of the gun we used. It's the actual one I used in the episode. I used two. One of them broke when I fell on it because it was not very well constructed. But this is the one that survived. So I have that one. Anyone blue? I'm all blue. I look for a difference in Bernie's hand gestures. To tell you the truth, he still seemed to be emu beaking as much as ever. Yeah, well, the emu beak is definitely a part of that. It's the long finger. That's him curtailing it. That's the Clinton thumb as opposed to the big thumb up. Hal, please talk about the guy in Walmart who was carrying it and took 4 officers to ask him to leave. The open carry guy? Was there a new one beyond the one that was like last week? Because here's the thing, again, the Walmart dude, I don't understand how these guys don't understand that all you do with open carry is allow people who want to do damage, who want to go into a place and open fire, to have more leeway to get closer to their target before anybody asks them a question. Because if you're walking around in polite society with an AR-15 strapped on your back, I think it's a good idea that the cops ask you a few questions. And I think if you have to smoke outside because of the possible danger from smoke, then keeping your gun outside the store is completely reasonable. And if you can't understand that, you're not the kind of person who should be out in polite society carrying a weapon like that. If you want to, join the police department, qualify for the SWAT team, and stop, sovereign citizen deputizing yourself to walk around and shoot people. Like, it's stupid. And all of these guys would flip out if there were like Muslims walking around, American citizens in, full like Muslim dress, strapped. They would think it was a declaration of war. And the thing is, they're setting laws in place by forcing this open carry situation where they're making people, acquiesce to their demands. They insist that these, that they be allowed to walk anywhere they want with a big gun as they can possibly carry, as an example of their right to keep and bear arms, even though they're not in a well-regulated militia. And not recognizing that all that does is make the, Edmund Kempers of the world and the next BTK killer or the next Columbine shooter or Aurora shooter be able to walk straight up to wherever they're shooting, guns ablazing, without anybody bothering them. Because if you'll get a lawsuit if you even ask somebody, where they're going with a 100-round magazine on an AR-15 strapped with a bump stock attached. Are you nuts? And what kind of society do you want to live in? Where you have to be the solution to that problem all the time? Because that's where this goes. I mean, maybe this is people who grew up with like mutual assured destruction and the nuclear standoff as their standard for behavior. But if you're Walmart, there is no good reason to allow open carry in your store, because all it does is allow the people who are going to come in and shoot the place up to get in there without a security guard being able to do anything about it. And again, I've always, I'm curious about like the stand your ground states. This is and maybe there's an amosexual or a gun club for men member out there who can explain this to me. At what point in a stand your ground situation do you have to feel if somebody can pull their gun around and kill 8 people in less than 30 seconds? Does their sheer presence with that much ammunition and that, the volume of killing ability, if you have a handgun on you, how long do you have to wait before you shoot that person? Do you have to wait for them to draw? Honestly, if you do, is it too late? Are you losing the drop on said individual? And even if you know him and he's part of your group of gun aficionados that gathers on weekends, how do you know this isn't the weekend he snaps? So are you going to be the one to take him down if he's your buddy? I don't know. Where is that moment of I felt threatened that's justified? Thanks, Hal Vickery. Thank you for being with us. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining in. I'm going to keep the post-show tight to 90 minutes from now on because I feel like I've been trapping people in there, and I appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, patreon.com/HalSparks. We've got 96 patrons now. If you'll recall, when we started this whole campaign to actually, improve the show, we ended up we had, no kidding, we had 6. We had. What is that? All right, save my spot. Okay, fine. So we had 6 people in the Patreon. We now have 96, and I really appreciate you guys joining in there. Every little bit helps. $5 a month puts you in the Blue Patch Brigade, which gets you a +1 to all my comedy shows. The person of interest, if you're doing the $10 level, by the way, I'm now able to allow people who are in that group to, their ticket is free and their guest. So how do you like that? So a bunch of you don't have to even worry about your ticket anymore. It takes a little wiggling with the clubs, but I have in my contract now, I'm able to do that. They're obviously higher levels, and bless you to those folks who do those even for a short time is immensely helpful. A couple of you have joined the Creative Circle, which is the $20 level. That's sort of more private about business stuff. Like we're going to be dealing with just like the creative aspect of the work that I do: stand-up acting, directing, streaming, all these other things, the technological issues, all that kind of stuff. We'll have open discussions about that. All of them have the Discord that you can join, which I'm new to using, so forgive me if I'm not great at it right out of the gate. If anybody's a Discord specialist, please contact me and help me walk through this. Hal Post Show, I can either listen to or watch and type in the chat. Can't do both at once. Sometimes I can, though. Is there a switch you can flip for me? I can either listen/watch or type in the chat. Can't do. Are you on, not YouTube, are you on the app? Are you watching on the YouTube app, or are you watching on the website? Because I've never seen that issue before. So, yeah. Yes, thank you, Charles. I appreciate your patronage. You guys are awesome. And I want to take a minute to thank you guys. Let's just be honest. There's been a bunch of folks in here who are, have, been with us, let's see, like from the length of this, like Julie and Tom and James Etling and Allison Ziegler and Ginger and Jonathan and Billy and Natalie and let's see, and Kelly, who just joined us actually. And, there's been some folks who've been with us literally, like, I think Julie was the first one to even join at 2017. So thank you so much, Julie, for being and having early faith in this whole thing and being around. I know she can't be with us all the time because she's constantly seeing the world. She's her own Dora the Explorer these days. But and Tom and James and Allison and Ginger and Carl and Natalie and Can't Stop Lying. You guys, your ongoing support is just it's super meaningful. I appreciate it more than you know. And I'm going to be giving shout outs to some of these folks. I'm going to try not to just do everybody, because eventually it will seem like just a credits roll, and it should be a little more personal. But Hal Vickery, the reason I wanted to bring that up is because you've been with us for a bit too, and I appreciate it a lot. Lisa Carper, thank you so much. Joyce Kehoe, thank you. And EO, appreciate you being there. And Amos and Femi, where are you? Wait, let me make sure the whole thing opens up. Where is it? There we go. There we go. So I've got so many windows open. It's insane. So Amos and Femi Barrow, thank you guys so much. You've been with us for a big stretch as well, and it's awesome. And like I said, every little bit is helping. We even one of the first things we got because of the patrons was the Roadcaster, which audio-wise has improved what we're doing, and the ability to connect to Chicago. The Stream Deck for when I'm switching shots, which I didn't switch that many because I was dealing with that weird thing with YouTube at the beginning, the unlisted part, but it worked out fine later. But but it does this little Stream Deck thing does a bunch of stuff. Not the least of which is I can do the lights from here. It's pretty sweet. Like at some point, this is getting manageable, which helps the show immensely because I don't have to worry about all the other tech stuff. Like these days, I'm really taking it for granted that the tech is handled. Start up the clown car because we're all bozos on this bus. Boy, is that true. Fancy Free, I've enjoyed the show since it first started. Thank you, Fancy Free. Yes, some of you have been around since I used to just Ustream this thing, so bless your heart. Yes, we're doing total romper room right now. You are too. Found the show when you were on with Steffi. Well, thanks. That's actually how it started. This show didn't exist when I first started with Steph. I picked it up later. I am pimping the peeps. This is true. And wait, it was I have to roll back. I believe it joined in 2016. That's right. Yeah, it was right after lunch when we first started that thing. So thank you guys for being with us for this whole stretch. I just and Rob Glenn, who helped us out with the computer. I like beyond it just being better for the streaming stuff that we're doing. On top of that, because my old laptop was collapsing, as many of you know, from the road, because I burned out 3 of them doing this show because of me and my multicam thing. We get to now send the old one that isn't totally burned out to Chicago so they can use it, so I can eventually incorporate Johnny in on cam in the show too. So give me a blue patch at Helium in St. Louis after a show in 2016. Yeah. It was, James. That was from the first production run as well. Yeah. I'm actually having to make more. I think we're down to this little batch. These all go out this week. Because we have, and some people I'm overlapping with. So some people updated to the 10 or came in at the 10 level. If they come in at the 10, they get a patch. But if they've already got one, I don't need to resend one. So, and also make sure your address is in there. Please, guys, if you're a patron, make sure in the account your address shows up so I can mail it to you. Because that was some of the issues before. Like some people who joined early, I think, never put their addresses in because, I wasn't offering anything to send you back then. It was just kind of videos and that stuff that was all digital online. But since we're sending physical things, and there are going to be more of those in the future, including personal postcards and connect cards and that kind of stuff, I would like to have is it wrong that I want to have like a holiday card list with you guys? I'd like to send you guys Christmas cards and stuff. That'd be nice. I Love the 80 Strikes Back is a good time to discover me, I think. Look at that. Kathy got a gig out of last week. All right, on. I am still using only Apple laptops because the software I prefer to use is actually Mac-based, and it's great. Did you know it also works as a magnet? Yes, it does. Well, it's sticky. It's not. It like will stick to just about anything. These things are great that way. So, yeah. They stick to glass pretty well on their own. They are sticky. It's true. But good sticky, not yeah. What? Did you read the survey on Trump's site? No, I try not to. Hey, look at that. Well, thank you. Look at that. Bob Peterson joined us right there on Patreon. Do you like the little logo that comes up? That's a Streamlabs edition. Because it came with that. That makes us 97 today. Thank you so much. That's right. Yeah, 97. Right on. We're so trying for 100. I got to come up with something special to do at 100 that doesn't involve nudity. Yes, Fear the Walking. Did you get the Christmas package sent to your Santa Monica address? The Christmas back. Yes, I suppose so. Is it new recently? Because I haven't been to LA in a week. I was supposed to go last week and I didn't go because I was busy working on stuff. I've been so like entrenched working on all this stuff that I have not wanted, except when I'm touring, to leave, and I've got editing to do. So I'm basically glued to this desk most of the time. Last week, okay, well, I would not have gotten it yet, so hopefully I will see it. I think I got notifications that goes to the PO box, so I know when it's there. Look at a stray hair is poking up. What is irritating is Trump survey ads show up before progressive channels like watch their videos like Trump ad buyers are trolling liberal YouTube videos. Yeah. Clearly. Straight out of Windows 95. It is that 8-bit look of that. That's why I chose it, though, because I like it. I left it up there. Well, we're trying to make it so that, everybody who's in our little group here, they have their successes, we all celebrate them, God knows. So who's our newest? Let's see. Oh, and Aaron, by the way, pledged. I wanted to bring this up. Aaron, who's in the chat room as well, recently joined, and he pledged at because the $5 level is the blue patch thing. He pledged 666, which I thought was lovely for our 666 Fifth Avenue Fund, and I just thought that was awesome. So I've had to create a blue patch plus for him. I got to come up with something else to send along with that beyond the. We'll have to figure out what that is. So I'm always trying to expand on that. It's hard to, and that's, part of the Monday chat will be about this, like how to balance the fact that, I hope the patrons are doing this to help the show because that's exactly what they're doing without turning it into a too much of a side career that requires more attention and maintenance than the stuff I'm supposed to be doing that you guys are supporting. You know what I mean? That's the middle part of it. So we'll see. But, you are a wild man, Rocky Mountain Mike. House cleaning now, movie party tonight. Well, in your new theater? That's sweet. Screening Long Shot with Seth Rogen and keep showing the movie because it's funny and not too long. Well, that'll do it. If you use Windows 10 Classic Shell, it has been updated to OpenShell, an open source program to bring back Windows 7. And if you must win 8 and then Vista Storm, oh my God. Like my computer situation isn't complicated enough. Like, I feel like I want to show you guys how do we do, let's see. Yeah, I don't want to do, I feel like I should do a screenshot of what this actually looks like. Because it's just craziness. Like, I have so many windows open, and then I have this monitor up here running the Restream chat IO so that I can tell where I am. Good Lord. It's like I'm a one-man NASA. But thank you, Bob, for joining it. And, and Ginger updated her thing, too. You guys are wonderful. This is ridiculous. You guys are so sweet. And I hope you notice that it's actually changing. It's helping the show. It really is. And it means a lot. So we're growing all the time. Had to go to Safari to do it. Sadly, I doubt how we'll do any Montana shows, so ticket discounts won't do me much good. That's okay because the karma bonus makes it worthwhile. Yes. Well, that's the thing. If you're, I've been trying to do a show in Billings forever. I don't even know what clubs are up there. However, my dad goes hunting in Montana. So maybe I'll go with him on one of those trips. Look at that, Billy. Look at that. Yay. Thanks, Billy. That's amazing. You guys, that makes us almost to the 100 point. It's crazy. Hooray. Did we lose Can't Stop Lying? Is he busy today? I feel like he's MIA from the chat. Now, we normally see a bunch of him, but I may have worn him out after that get-together, too, though. I hope you're good, brother. We're thinking about you. Please come to Aurora, Illinois. Amos, we're doing... CPT has talked to me about doing another live event. We're working that out now. I think the last one we did... was out that way, right? So I can't remember if it was the one before that or not. But so definitely there will be one of those. And if I can do a stand-up show down there, that would be awesome. Yeah. So The Walking Dead are coming for Hal. The Sparks Challenge. Yes, thank you, Billy. I appreciate it. That's right. And again, if you can only do that for a short time, I completely understand. Also, if you're a regular super chatter, it can be a better way to contribute to the show sometimes than super chats. I appreciate those, and they certainly help, no question. It's a more direct way to help sometimes. And if you don't want to sign up for the whole thing, that's obviously the easier way of doing it. But yeah, it helps immensely. So you guys, as the newest Patreon member, I want to request coming back to DeKalb. Yes, well, that's with Ron Campbell. Look at that. You guys are just crazy today. That's so great. Thank you so much. It's funny is I'm so used to waiting, like when we first started this, it was like months and months. Like, oh, we got somebody. Oh, we lost somebody. Like in August, we were like, hey, we got 4 people. Oh, we lost 2. Well, okay. So that's awesome. I have to reload the page and make that happen. That's fantastic. Thank you guys so much. And again, if, by the way, you don't have your patch yet for some reason because you joined too early or whatever, understand that your benefits, like coming to a show, you don't need the physical one to do it. If you're coming to a show or whatever, you're on a list that I have. I keep the list of patrons with me so that when if I'm anywhere near you guys are kind of on my list. So there you go. I don't put my agents on my list. So they got to pay full fare. But you guys, yeah, be prepared to receive our pillow and blankie for the couch. That's right. It's going to be a nap time. Hey, Margie Lane, thank you. Well, thanks very much. There he is. Man, this install has been a marathon for me. Have you been working on computer issues? Can't stop lying. There have been days where I made the mistake back in the day of like Wirecast. There's a new version of Wirecast. Would you like to download it? And like an hour before the show, I'm like, yeah, it shouldn't take that long for an hour show. And then everything dies. I was like, oh God, horrifying. I don't watch zombies, but Ian Somalander got me to watch The Walking TVD. The Walking Dead. Is that the German version? Oh, Ginger. Ginger gave us a sticker. Thanks. There he is. He's back in the saddle. They're doing it, Can't Stop Lying. We've got 3 patrons just today. And Ginger popped up. Look at I think this like little symbol thing is hysterical. Like, it's so fun. Do you notice the blue patch comes up with that? Did you notice? I'm just saying. I've been working on stuff. You guys know I've been working behind the scenes, listening and cleaning today. Sometimes that's the best way to do it, Hal needs Can't Stop Lying to post his address so he can get all his sweet birthday loot. I got something I'm sending. Aw, thanks, Nacho Tube. Yeah, it's also on the contact page at halsparks.com, and I appreciate you guys. That's really sweet. If you're in town, in LA at all on the 22nd, I'm at Flappers doing a birthday show, and then on the 24th, I'm doing an I Love the 80s night at the Ultimate Jam Night. I think I'm going to be singing like 4 or 5 songs, which will be great. With some good friends. Ace Van Johnson has already said he's going to join me. He's from LA Guns and Faster Pussycat, which is great. He's such a good dude. He's he's one of these pit bull rescue guys. Great on animal rights. Sweetheart. Just a good soul. Thank you, Sarah. Look at that. Right on. You guys, we're going to hit, you watch. This is turning into a telethon, but we're going to hit 99 patrons. We have 99. I can't believe it. That's so awesome. If and just so you guys know, if anybody does the bigger ones with the script or whatever, like I have to let those run for 2 months before I send the scripts out, because I can't, if I do it after 1 month, it's like I'm selling them, and I'm not allowed to do that. I'm allowed to gift them to people for sticking around, like I'm allowed to gift pictures from lab rats or stuff like that, but I'm not allowed to sell them like that. So I don't want to do that. They're really just a plus on top of it. So. A purple patch? That's a good idea. I like the idea of a purple patch. Purple patch is a good idea. Like the next batch might need to, upgrade into that. We'll see. That might be the $10 level is the purple patch. Posse. Watch it. Why does YouTube cover up the personal avatars? In this, in the chat that it does in here, it shouldn't. I mean, they're in there. I see them. I see your personal avatars in my chat room. I think it might just be, I don't know what the deal is. Because sometimes a good, maybe it might be the restreaming of it. That's probably what it is. When I restream, instead of using, the YouTube chat icons, it just tells me where everybody's from. So you'll see that, Fasting cures snacking. It does help. I'm on a solid 20-hour fast. I can't eat till 4 o'clock today at alls, so it's black coffee and water and that stuff. Yeah, when I put it on the screen, it's because I'm using Restream because I do the multiple sources. When I do private streams that are just us at YouTube, they should show up all right. It's weird though. That's a YouTube thing because when I do it on Twitch, Twitch allows their icons to come through. So I'm not. That's a deal between Restream and YouTube, I think. So, but it's been immensely helpful being able to stream the actual show out to the multiple sites. Yeah, absolutely. Can't Stop Lying is up on Project 50. That's for sure. Not to get off subject, but have you watched Carnival Row on Amazon Prime? I have not, and I want to actually look at it. I just been under it, so yeah. I'm looking out for that asteroid 4179 around 5% Eastern. What will you be doing? I'll be in my underground bunker, hiding from the giant asteroid. Where's Adam and Leo? Well, they're fictional, so they're in your television set. Whenever you want to see them, go watch Lab Rats, and they will be there. And insofar as Spencer, who plays Adam, and DJ, who plays Leo, they're working. You can follow them on Instagram. They're everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, don't make me think of food. Although I don't really have a problem with it now. Man, in the beginning, when I started doing long-term fasting, there was definitely an issue. There was definitely around, because I was doing the intermittent fasting where I was just doing 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock was basically my window, or 2 o'clock to 9 really. And for psychologically, just once it hit noon, I was like, when is 2 coming? When is 2 o'clock? When is 2 o'clock? Gurgle. But now I'm way better. Oh, Natalie and her cookies. They're just vicious. There's one left, and it's downstairs. Robin M. covering in my basement thinks count from they think another solar system is a secret alien doomsday weapon to contain the earthen species. Yeah, it's going to activate the Black Knight satellite and attack us and ask us to. It's going to need to talk to a white rhino, and when we've killed them all. Should have made Leo a chip. We did make Leo a chip. Leo had a chip. Eventually, I mean, I crushed his leg. I had to replace it. Only Disney show ever to have 2 amputations and a blinding, and we killed somebody. Well, she killed herself. Her laser lasso sliced her in half, and she slid apart. We didn't show it. Thanks. Thanks, Michael Anderson. Not the worst thing the auditors will catch me doing. This is true. Is the sticker got? See, it just and that's weird, Michael, because it doesn't show the sticker in that part of it. But I got to find a way to post those. But thank you. Thank you, Michael Anderson. Thank you, Ginger. Thank you, Billy. I don't want it. That will be the catchphrase of every character played by Kit Harington forevermore. His new Marvel character, Black Knight, will say, I don't want it every fight, right? And this was a kid's show? Yeah. Well, it's kind of a crossover mid-zone, Why did it cancel? It didn't get canceled. It ran its term, essentially, because the kids grow up. Whoop, Michael Anderson. That's absolutely right. Oh my God, stop talking about the cookies. I'm on a hard fast. Frustrated with Chrome running so slow on my machine. I'm out now, so I'll be 10 minutes before this message gets... Yes, that's right. He tweeted this. He sent this message via the Chrome YouTube page an hour and a half ago, before the show even started. That's right. Yeah, those like I'm so excited. Look at that. Let's talk about the debates a little bit more, just a touch, because we've got, let's see, and 11:30. Yeah, so we got an hour. We're good. I know some of you got to bail out, and I've been keeping everybody on for like hours at a time. I felt bad because I felt like Natalie was being trapped by the show. Like, I want to leave, but I got laundry and I can't. But it is gonna, interestingly enough, Chrome. I usually use Safari for everything, but Chrome, I have to use Chrome for CleanFeed, the software, the website I use to contact the station in Chicago. That it doesn't work with Safari for some reason. Most of the time it's pretty good, but I literally I have to use it for that one. Joe won just because he didn't screw up bigly. I agree, and I think he also had a good, smart strategy to push back against the kind of anti-Obama sentiment last time. And you could argue that everybody was planning on being nicer this time, or that they thought it through. But I don't necessarily take that for granted. Kathy, thanks so much. You got 666 from Kathy. Appreciate that. That's for the coffee you got me. Kathy went with us to eat at Yang Sing, which is, one of my two favorite Chinese restaurants in the United States. Whenever I'm in San Francisco, they're both there. House of Nanking and Yang Sing. Yang Sing is a dim sum place. Ridiculous. Can I just say, all right, cabbage salad sounds awful. It just sounds terrible. Yes, Billy, 666 Fifth Avenue shall be ours. We will claim it. Cabbage salad sounds nasty to me. Like, it just does. But the way they make it there, it's shredded purple cabbage, light. It's like the inner part, which is lighter, and like cut really fine with this sauce and walnuts, and it's so good. It's so good. Oh, Natalie, not at all. You didn't make me feel bad. I'm just playing around. Yeah, Sam Blam, it's not going to happen. Not anytime soon, anyways. And certainly not, it isn't the younger ones that he would, if he drops out, it won't because the younger ones are nipping at his heels. If he drops out, that simply puts Sanders or Warren in a stronger position. They would have to drop out too for the younger ones to get up there. Literally, all top 3-tier candidates would have to go for any of the people like on the younger side of the spectrum to get a shot. For real. Because he's the front runner, that's what everybody thinks it's up to him, but it isn't. Oh, Kelly. There you go. Hi, Kelly. I think that's 100. I think we just hit 100 patrons. I can't believe it. Oh no. Did we lose one? We lost one at the same time? We're still at 99? Damn it. Oh no, I think somebody transferred over. That's what it was. Okay. We're still... No, maybe it just hasn't registered. That's fantastic. Come on, you. Yep, it's still... Yeah. Nope, we're still at 99. Oh, so close. I was excited. I can do with Sanders and Warren at the top, personally. I think in national politics, I think the clear best case scenario as far as electoral success is Biden, Warren, Sanders. As far as popularity and electability. Oh, Laura, then that definitely did it. That had to have put us over the 100 mark. 100 patrons, I can't believe it. Look at you. Oh, look how sweaty I am. It's hot in here. Yes, patron day. 100 patron day. Patron day. I don't know what else I'm doing. I just felt like doing that. That's just funny. I can't. That's really awesome. Well done, everyone. Thank you so much. That's fantastic. Look at that. Yeah, I'm sorry. It is super hot in this room. I have a fan going, but I have so many lights and all this kind of stuff. Okay, quick tour. Good to see you. Hold on. Tilt this guy up a little bit. Try to back out over here. So, Hue light bulb. Another Hue light bulb. Hue light bulb. Hue Go. Ring light. My hands all dirty. And this is a little globe light. Oh, Kate D did it too. Look at that. We're over 100. That's 101. I'm going to jack up this dance. Whoops. Oh, and I pulled my headphones out. I was so excited. I stripped my own headphones out, which I don't technically need. Where's Julie to tell me to take my headphones off? Where are my headphones at? All right. I'll tip this back down and over here a little bit. Thank you. That's good. Yeah. Guys, 101. This is super sweet. I should have. There you go. Can't stop line. Woohoo! Thank you guys. Holy smokes. I started talking to people about using, other sources to help, like Norman Goldman's show. I was talking with him about doing this, and you guys know I'll keep doing this even if Patreon was a failure, it stops tomorrow. I'm still doing what I'm doing because I love you guys and I think it's necessary and it's just super valuable. But I honestly, I started talking to them about, just getting at it, after hearing all these right-wingers just building studios, entire studios with their Patreon support and all their other crowdfunded stuff. And then the left is sitting over here with their thumb up our tuchus. And the Tom Steyers and the George Soroses of the world are not picking up the slack that the Heritage Foundation lays down by paying Rush Limbaugh's salary. It is entirely possible. We will not rule that out. It's just super sweet, you guys. It just is. Oh, Christy, thank you. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Integral Destiny, who's been with us for a long time. You guys are great. I really appreciate that. 102? Nutty. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Nightbot. Yeah, I think Julie's just busy traveling, but I hope all is well with her. Julie, we love you. If you're out there listening, we miss you. I hope you're well. Been thinking about you. Now we have a budget, y'all. This is awesome and adds stability to our platform. That is absolutely true. We can actually start growing stuff. We have. Literally, this is, game-changing in that regard. So, holy smokes. The voice of many generations. Well, I'm trying to bring everybody together. How do you talk about all this stuff in a civilized manner while still standing true to your principles and giving people their space to be jerks sometimes, or to fail, or to make mistakes, which is super important to this process as well. No crying, please. All right. It happens. It is like Patreon Day. It's like a holiday. I can't believe this. This is so cool, you guys. And obviously, Kathy, hanging out with her when we went up there for the San Francisco game. I'm coming up for Cobb's in a couple of weeks. And the first week of October, I'm doing Cobb's Comedy Club. So all the patrons who are up in that area, there's a couple who've joined recently, we'll have a meetup there as well. Anna has said she might help coordinate it, which is awesome. Same thing in LA. We're gonna have dinner before the Flappers gig. Sort of a birthday dinner hangout with you guys would be great. Be a gift if you guys would show up. Those of you that are in the LA area. Let's see, Liberty. You know the word Tujas? Hal Sparks not sure from the spelling. I don't know. Is that from Rammstein? Du hast mich. I don't know what. I'm not even going to pretend. Yeah, Saturday the 14th. Must have been a full moon yesterday. Hello, Gio. My name's Hal. You can call me Donald if you want to. That's okay. Norman Goldman was a treasure, and don't forget the Ed Schultz show. However, his views turned off kilter in his later years, gave Norman Goldman his start as Schultz's fill-in host. Yeah, well, and also, Schultz's problem partly was that after he left MSNBC, he went to RT, and like, dude, don't. Yes, the Flappers gig, Carl. Yes. Took us. Oh, took us. As in butt. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Took us. Keister. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. So cool. You guys, I'm amazed. We literally cleared 102 patrons. And also Ginger entered the creative circle, which she's kind of already in, when we hang out. Because she, like, Ginger, we've had lots of conversations about, just the creative process and stuff. Because, like, I have as much, of your brain to pick about writing as you might me about, communication skills that I have, and so I feel like that's what's, great about that, that element of it. So yes, Ginger's absolutely a super fan. She's a total supporter. It's been great. I mean, it's not a jam unless I see her, her there with or without anybody in tow. Yeah. Yeah. The patrons of San Francisco, contact Liberty on Twitter, and we'll have a little get together. We'll either all go to Yank Sing or we'll all go to, House of Nanking. That would be a bit of a takeover. That place is crowded already. It's not that big. Springing for the Gulf Stream now. Yeah, I'm not at the point where I'm like a televangelist where I'm like, the Lord has told me, unless y'all give me a G5, he's going to smite me and take me from the earth. Deliver me. Let's see. We must do sushi along with others here the next... I insist, Richard. That would be awesome. Yeah, there's kind of a Hal University thing to it. I'm thinking about, Ginger, I think you should do one of those Udemy courses on writing a book. I just think on getting it done. I'm just thinking you got a lot to teach there. Those... It's like the master class for the rest of us where you can make up your own. I'm just saying. Way too good at that impersonation. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of them. Check out QAF Landos on Twitter if you're in the San Francisco area and you want to hang out for the patron hangout. House steaks and I'm out. Yes, it's true. Ginger does have her own fanboys. It's true. Might catch her off guard. That's right. One of the other ways you can also help too is if you can't do the Patreon or you can't do super chats, you don't have that ever. If you ever shop on Amazon, if you use the link for my store, which is in the description below, by the way, for 24 hours after that, whatever you order, even if it's not from that, it's under gear in the transcript in the description box below. If you use that link, I get credit for the bonus whatever you bought. It sends that. It's like a little tip or something. I don't know how it works yet. I haven't done it yet much, but it's brand new. Hal Streaks what? Yeah. Thanks, EO. Thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate it. Twitch tips are great too. Yeah, that's a good way to do it too. I haven't set that up much, and again, I've got a long way to go before I trust that stream. It's I work really hard to make sure that this thing is consistent. You guys know what a tooth pull this has been over the this last year to make sure that it's of quality each time. And like I said, Rob, thank you again, brother. Helps immensely that I can count on the video card that I'm broadcasting through wherever I am. And as I go back to China, or I, do the other show, or as I'm touring, I've got a lot of dates coming up. When I'm doing the show from La Jolla, I'm going to be doing the show from San Francisco as well. Without a station, without anything, it's super necessary to keep the quality up and being able to reach you guys, interact with the chat the way I want to, all that stuff. So, yeah. I don't want to talk about that. Yeah. Twitch, yes, Twitch is for gamers. It is. But, I tried to mention this to Steph a while back, that a lot of people stream on there as well. Like, usually it's sort of game or tech related, but there's radio shows that have added Twitch to their thing. So, yeah. Wait, what happened with, did I miss that one? I feel like I didn't see something. Thanks, Rob. Yes, thank you, Rob. Absolutely. Let's see. Yeah, so we had dinner right before the La Jolla gigs last time too, Carl. And we can meet up there again if you want. Stream your digital drawing from time to time. Yeah, I've seen people do that, and I think that's a fascinating way to do it. It's just like watch people watch your process. It's really fun. I've thought about, if you'll notice, there's a little camera set up on my keyboard over here. See that? It's just on top of the keyboard right there. That I'll be able to, as I'm working on some new music, people in the creative circle can watch the process as I do it. Kind of like it'll just hum along in the background, and you can kind of pay attention as you do. And afterwards, and when I'm done with the project, you can go, you'll have seen what I went through to do it, and all the sour notes and false melodies and changes in keys and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be original material for Twitch? Not necessarily. I think you can I dual stream there. That worked. It worked better than the directly streaming to Twitch. I don't know what the heck that was. Oh, the monitor just went out. Just was idle for too long. That happens. I'm sweaty. I'm very sweaty. It's hot in here. I need better ventilation. I turned the air conditioning up because I had so many, all these lights going and stuff. It's becoming like a real studio. Go Ginger, go Ginger, go Ginger. Yeah, she got a new job this week. It's great. Yeah, so Twitch does gaming as well, but they have slightly more lax rules on content probably than YouTube does. You don't, as far as ads and stuff, because they expect a certain amount of saucy. Oh my God, too much Restream bot? Good to know. I will check that out. What is this? Wake up, crazy monitor. Welcome back, Artemis. Thank you. Yeah, there's some, the Bob Ross style painting is hilarious. Okay, no action shut off. I know that. I got to do this. Where's this guy? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's go. I'll bring cookies for everyone at our next meetup. Oh, no. She will, too. I believe her. Talk to text does bad grammar typo errors. This is true. I thought you flinging through the air at one of your Van Halen shows was amazing, Houseworks. Well, thanks, Liberty. Yeah, those are fun. Those are really fun. It's a good release, to the sort of the pressure of all the other stuff that I do. In and of itself, even though it's still performing, there's a relaxing part of it for, it's just super great. Just being able to. No available one. That's weird. Yeah, hold on. Control this way. Options. That way. I don't know. Okay. Hard to do. Okay. We'll figure it out. Yes. Let's see. History, I don't. Hal, do you stay in contact with Carl in Nashville? I haven't heard from him in a bit. He usually just calls into the show. I don't know what his, if anybody knows his like Twitter feed or any of that stuff, let me know. But yeah, I'm not quite sure how active he is right now because we haven't heard him call in a month. Hal, we'll check with Joyce about La Jolla on the 20th and the 27th. We're going to see Rob. Oh, very nice. Rod Stewart. I live for the Nerd Halen shows, honestly. They're pretty good. They're really fun. Yes, Rod Stewart is alive. What's wrong with you? Oh. Penn versus Pittsburgh. Penn State versus Pittsburgh is 17-10. Yeah, tomorrow's football day at this house. Was that a private pool party last week? I don't know. Scott Grimes is an excellent singer. Grimes Roxy sang at his own wedding. Is that a party foul? Might be a party foul. Yeah, we're gonna do a Natalie. We're gonna do a Nerd Halen show in Vegas. Penn State alumni also attend University of Penn Law School in a minute. Cool. Mawaz, I saved you from what? I hope something good, unless we're talking about Natalie's cookies. But I love John Mayer. All right, that's cool. A Nerd Halen pool party? Oh, right. Yeah, no, Burbstock is this private party this dude does, and he knows all these like animators and the like, so the remotes play every time they do, the ones I did the Greatest American Hero theme with. They do TV theme songs, and they perform there every year. They perform around a lot. But Tom Kinney's band, who, Tom Kinney you might know as the voice of SpongeBob SquarePants or as Binky the Clown in Shakes the Clown. It's super talented dude. He's got a huge band. And so this Burbstock thing has been going on for years. It's sort of a sprawling block party. This guy's moved it around a bunch. This time the stage was set up in front of his pool, and then everybody around could hear it or whatever. But it was hilarious. A real workout person who sings. Would you do a metal version of Rod Stewart's If You Think I'm Sexy as a metal cover? Some here would love it. I love that idea. I will be completely honest. I have floated that to the band before. I also think, though I do think Hot Legs is actually a slightly better choice. So, yeah. As far as rock goes, tempo-wise, tell Rod to cancel his solo shows and get the faces back together. All right. Pressure. Let's see. That was connected. I don't know why that happened. Oh, that's I see. Oh my God, Hal, I didn't know if I can hang with you singing Do You Think I'm Sexy? You might want to refresh your CPR skills. Right. Yes, they're always on point. I'm not worried. That's it. Yeah, you have nothing to worry about. We're always... Oh, that's not going to work. I got to figure that out. Anyways, weird. Not important. I'm just messing around with my behind-the-scenes stuff. think we're back. We should be back. Yeah. That was weird. Hello? Are you there? You might have to refresh. Let's see. Yeah. They're back. Circle of Doom. Circle of Doom. Stream resumed. Circle of Doom. Everything fine. We're rolling along. Can we get out to everybody? Average required. 122. Okay, everything's matched up. Everything seems to be rolling. I got to start that again. Okay, I'm back. Good. I can't tell on my own page. That was weird. That was an internet dropout. That wasn't me. That was something else. There's some, obviously, we hit noon and everybody goes, I should go online now. It's like everybody's doing their internet fasts. Yeah. Yeah, reload your page. Now, however, the nice thing is, I think, yeah, there we go. Sorry about the epic times. That's so weird that you get that extra piece all the time. Yeah. So now, though, because I reopened in YouTube by itself, there you guys are. So now we've got personal logos again. So which Dem looks appealing to you? Most of them. The only ones I have issues with are Tulsi to some degree and Julian Castro a little bit. And, you know, I have my issues with Bernie, but again, all of them are better than not. So, oh, that's right, Shell Bell. It's trivia time. That's right. I liked Huffman in that series, American Crime. She's terrific. So realistic. Picture's good. Nice. Well, that's exactly right. Felicity Huffman, you know, she'd be Secretary of Education. He's probably going to hire her. As soon as she gets out, she's going to replace Betsy DeVos. Tulsi should get primaried. She probably will, but I don't know. Amos still for you guys. It's too late for my Luke. I am your father. No.
It's no use, Luke. If you'd have been there, you'd have been killed too. The droids would now be in the hands of the Empire. A young pupil of mine named Darth Vader.
There we go. I'm just rolling back on some of this that I missed the chat when we took an accidental break. Thanks, Shell Bell. Thanks for hanging around. You're awesome. I'm going to... Oh, it's 12:03. So in 10 minutes, we got 10 minutes left. DeVos is coming to Rockford on Monday. I looked for an organized protest, but can't find one. Might have to start one, Wes. Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Smash that like. Give us a thumbs up. Appreciate that. Anybody, if you're watching, if you found this on the internet later on, or you're listening later on, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. That really helps us out. And of course, you know, thumbs up or thumbs down. Engagement is the key. That's the important part. Thank you, Michael. I do a fairly decent Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, there's a name I've not heard in a long time.
Are you doing any shows in Denver? I don't have any planned right now, but I will be back at Comedy Works sometime in the next 10 months. That's all I can say. We will be getting back up there. Yeah. I don't understand our justice system. $25 million fine for fraud, creating a fake university, and jail for a mom bribing a college. I just don't get it. Yeah. You said Kenobi like Bill Shatner, did I?
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, there's a name I've not heard in a long time. I don't think he's dead. At least not yet. He's me. Miss Spock.
I always thought he was saying, it sounded like Miss Spock.
Miss Spock.
Like it was a dig he was doing.
No, everything's fine, Miss Spock.
Stop calling me Miss. You're misgendering me, Captain.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Not intentional. Oh, Obi-Wan Kenobi. What about the droids? Where are they?
That's what's the red shirts the teacher's gonna told to wear. Sounds like a photo op for the red shirts that the teacher. No, they're just when they beam down to the planet's surface, they're just not coming back. I mean, they got to know that, right? Don't wear a red shirt. All right, Amos has crossed the line. Meatloaf is a werewolf. I don't know what that means. Love the documentary on Leonard Nimoy that was on Channel 11. He was a good dude. Please tell me you guys have seen him sing the Bilbo Baggins song, though. I'm not going to play it because I can't play it on here. I'll get a copyright strike or something on the whole show. But for real, check out, just look it up. It's like Leonard Nimoy, Bilbo Baggins. Yes.
Move along. This is not the party you're looking for.
Yeah.
The force is strong with white nationalists. The force has a strong effect on the minds of white nationalists.
Yes, years ago on Dr. Demento. Yeah, well, there's a video. Like you can watch the video. It's peak 60s. Like it's so 60s it could erase the entire memory of the Manson family. Nuts. Bye, Kathy. Be well. Used to call it classic. Wait, what was it? I always have to roll back and when I see somebody write, seriously? What do you mean? Like, I don't know. You have to roll back and look at what they were saying. Oh, thanks. It's holding it together. You know. It is a little it's a little bit heady today. Sorry. That's right. Join us every week. Space 1999. Yeah. Wear red Monday, 16th, support public education. There you go. Red for Ed action. September 16th, support public. There you go. Have you guys seen the William Shatner Rocket Man? Oh my God! Like that's a playlist waiting to happen. Bilbo Baggins and Rocket Man, and along with those songs Nichelle Nichols used to sing. You know, in the early when they would have her sing songs about Spock while he played the harp. Super 60s. Just wow. Yes, let's not forget, vote.org. Go there. Make sure that you are registered. Keep checking. Trust yet verify. Exactly. And vote in every election that comes your way. Every single one. Is like the third, Richard, the third guy in the picture, like, because he turns, you know, it's multiple versions. There's like the drunk party Shatner that he turns into, where he's like, I'm a rocket man. Like, it's incredible. Indeed, I did get some color. It is true. I'm glad. I just sick of looking like a jellyfish on camera. And as I fixed all the lighting, I was like, oh my God, it gets worse. So Richard Madden will be in an upcoming Marvel in a few years. We'll see. Oh my God, Rocket Man by Bill Shatner, awesome. Yes, I mean it's a feel good moment, Charles. If you haven't seen it, people, please. No, I would not call it singing. I would call it's closer to beat poetry or some nonsense. You were pink last week with Kathy's like, yeah. Well, the entirety of the background was like this kind of odd tan color anyways. NWS or Trump? I don't know what you mean by that. Yeah, that was probably the problem, Carl. Good point. It made me look orange. It was all those LED lights. That was a random feel-good clip to watch Patti Smith singing You Light Up My Life on Kids Are People Too. So sincere and cool with the kids. Total punk rock. Not the cliche. That's great. Okay, I'll check that out. The Celestial movie Richard Madden is cast in already along with Angelina. I see. Orange, you glad? I want Trump to sing Rocket Man? Oh, my God. Who do I trust? I trust everybody to varying degrees, you know. I do have a habit of trusting first and then, regretting it later in some cases. You have to be kind of careful, especially if you come into the industry later than some folks. If you start out, I guess, like a child star or something, I think you carry with you this kind of guarded mentality, which is healthy. It can be overwhelming at times, but you're aware. Whereas if you get into the industry a little bit later, or you break through a little bit later after struggling for a long time, you have a tendency to think everybody's just kind of on the same team. I see. I see. I was a different thing. You were relating it to the other thing. I thought it was a serious question. My bad. I want Trump and Sing Sing. Right. Yeah. Jailhouse Rock. Hal doesn't want to look like a pasty white John Fugelsang. That's true. Is there another kind of John Fugelsang? I need bigger hair. I would need bigger hair. How about Trump on Dancing with the Stars? Yeah. No. Weird. All right. Shutting down this whole thing. There we go. Yeah. Amos does have a very cool logo. This is true. How about Trump in a Virginia prison? Oh, I think the chances are higher that it won't be prison for him after he leaves office, but more than likely, it will just be him watching his businesses get shuttered. That's more than likely that's what that is, Where's I can't, it's so weird. I can't see the, There it is. There you are. Crazy. Excellent. Okay. Couldn't find my cursor on that on the computer before there. So exile in Russia. Well, I don't know if it'll be exile. I think he'll be building stuff there. The problem he really has is that he's going to outlive his usefulness with all the people that he owes money to when he's no longer in office and can't do anything. And that's a dangerous position to be in. It's why Manafort hasn't, has kept quiet, because he's probably afraid for his daughter's life. Why? He'd probably steal Air Force One and fly to Mexico. What a weird, like, Nicolas Cage would have to star in that movie. Better confiscate Trump's passport early. Was he a big traveler when he was? It's kind of like Bush Jr. Like, they don't tend to go places. Trump will go out like Epstein and Goring. It's a possibility. That's the concern, man. You can't lie down with those kind of folks. Oh, 100, yeah. Hold on, I got to restart that. Amazing and scary reports of a drone attack on 2 large Saudi refineries by Yemeni Houthis, backed by Iran. Significant damage. A sharp warning to the West and Saudi Arabia by Iran. Uh-oh. Did that just happen, Tom? Was it in the Strait of Hormuz? Drones strike big Saudi oil centers and Houthis claim responsibilities. Wow. Yeah, that's just going down. An attack claimed by Yemeni's Houthi rebels that targeted major Saudi oil installations early Saturday sparked explosions and fires, threatened to disrupt the kingdom's oil production, and raised fears the attacks on the heart of the Saudi oil industry would aggravate the already tense standoff between Iran and its adversaries in the Persian Gulf. The Houthis, an Iranian allied group, said Saturday they had sent a fleet of 10 drones to target oil facilities in the Khurais and Abtiak districts of Saudi Arabia. Khurais is one of Saudi Arabia's largest oil fields, believed to produce about 1.5 million barrels per day. Abtiak is the site of the kingdom's largest oil processing facility operated by oil giant Aramco. The drone strikes and the Houthi claim of responsibility add to the hair-trigger tensions in the Persian Gulf and worsening standoff between Iran, its Gulf neighbors, and the United States. Saudi acknowledges the attacks but did not say who carried them out. Houthi claim of responsibility, if confirmed, highlighted the rebels' rapidly advancing military capabilities more than 4 years after Saudi Arabia launched an offensive on Yemen, aimed at a large part at preventing the Houthis from carrying out cross-border attacks. Well, this is pretty much proof that Iran is giving them stuff because it didn't come out of nowhere. Yipe. Yeah, not good. Thanks for the heads up, Tom. I'll title an episode "Eating the Lobster After Manafort Started." Yeah. Gas going up by $1, perhaps. Well, Amos, we're already involved in this. It's the question is, do they make use of it to push for even stronger, military intervention in Yemen? And that's the problem with these situations, because somebody does this and then, you can have people inside the country claiming to be Houthi rebels claim, literally saying they did it, who didn't, because you want to strike an area, so you take advantage of it, or you even stage the attacks yourself like a false flag. It's so gnarly over there. I don't know how much I trust any of it. So, yeah. There you go. Yeah, it's a good day to fill up your gas tank. That's true. Software success, by the way. Now I may have to switch from my XLR mic mixer to a USB setup. Maybe in time for a couple of eBay listings. Yeah. Like a full-fledged invasion. I don't see us doing that. I think the Saudis would go in first. I don't see... we're tacitly in Yemen, but we're not going to attack Yemen on Saudi Arabia's behalf. This is not the same thing as Israel being attacked, really. Yemen will be the next Syria, unfortunately. Let's hope not, but there's absolutely a possibility that it's going to ratchet up. I mean, here's the thing. If you're the Saudis, you want oil prices to go up, and you don't have much oil left. Do you blow up, do you fake drone strike your own oil fields to drive the price up? Yeah, Yemen can't afford them. They got them as gifts. Absolutely. Thank you, Can't Stop Lying. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I don't see us picking up Saudi Arabia's slack in that. We've been backing them with holding our nose for a while now in this, mainly because of, in the idea that within the Houthi rebels, there's offshoots of Al-Qaeda and ISIS within them, so that's why we've been, kind of giving support to the idea. It's like an international push, but we're not going to follow them into a war, and we're certainly not going to pick up the slack in a broader proxy war. Had they hit tankers in the Strait of Hormuz, that would have been different. We'll just sell the Saudis more weapons. I think that's closer to the reality, yes. We've been holding our nose. Yes, that is absolutely true as well. We've been holding our nose about the Saudis since 9/11. Well, before that, I would argue too, yeah. The Middle East has been a mess since before the 2003 invasion of Iraq, but especially afterwards, thanks to Cheney and Bush W. and anyone who foolishly voted for W's authorization, practically all. Yeah. Yeah, there are Israeli elections next week. Yeah. Even, and talk about the backdoor introduction to getting on the being a Twitch subscriber. If you're an Amazon Prime person, that's how you do it. I don't even know how to do that. Can't Stop Lying. You're a genius. I agree. I don't know necessarily that he's going anywhere right now. So it's tough. Ooh, all right. So 8 minutes left. We're good. Any last questions? Any last stuff you want me to cover? By the way, don't forget, Monday, 4 o'clock Pacific, we're doing a Patreon live stream. All of our new patrons who joined today, you guys will absolutely be able to join in on that. Don't forget to message me on the site. There's a, I can, you can kind of message me in there and say hi. And if you have any questions about how to, get on any of the streams or any of that stuff, I'm glad to answer them as best I can. A lot of this, by the way, is new. So forgive me if it's a little clunky at first, but we're going to grow these into something. Oh yeah, we'll talk about the new iPhone Pro 3. Like, I mean, you can shoot movies on the thing. It's just storage at this point. Like, why doesn't Apple just put out a movie camera? Don't get me started on a multi-lens, like full functioning feature camera, but it's shooting 4K anyways. So that's another stuff. But anyways, if you want to join us, please do. And let's see, I'll be listening only, I think. Depends on kind of access I get on my phone. I'll be stuck in Monday OC traffic. So yeah, no worries. We'll figure out, Ginger, I'm going to figure out a way where we can do kind of the Google Chat kind of thing. Originally, that was my goal, but they've scuttled that. You can't, Google Chats went away. Well, it's $11.50 or something like that, but you can trade in your phone and you can do it monthly, and there's all kinds of, they know it's expensive, but the iPhone Pro Plus Mega or whatever it's called is hilarious. It's basically a laptop that's just phone size. It's crazy. And I don't know who, I when I find myself using my phone that much for that kind of stuff, I'm like, I just rather use an iPad. If you're going to be holding something, it gets too small for the job. Why'd you say that twice? I didn't. You guys. I don't know that he can't. Is there something weird about? Yeah, we're seeing your messages twice. I don't know that it's your fault. I think it's just automatically going that way somehow. Unless you're doing that on purpose, which I doubt you are. I don't think so. I think it just kind of is an effect. WW West West. Yes, yes. It's like the echo I had at the beginning of the show earlier. Yeah, I don't get the $1,000 phone kind of thing. I mean, like, I literally, as a filmmaker, if you were doing a documentary, I can totally see it. Because you could shoot so much with that. If you can get good audio from some other source, the video will be like any decent camera you could carry around. Oh, good. We feel refreshed as well, Wes. So does West and the glitch makes a W. Yes, this is true. All right, I'm gonna sign. Oh wait, yep, my birthday's coming up. Thanks for reminding everybody. Can't stop lying. September 25th. It's my birthday. I turned 50. We're gonna unveil the Project 50 physique. 1 year. Oh, thanks for the follow. Is that in Twitter? I don't know where that comes. I guess somebody may have just grabbed that on Twitch. That's fun. I think that was just a Twitch thing. Still hooked up in the Streamlabs stuff, I think. Maybe. I love that. I got to come up with a better, like a Zoltan or something for when we get a patron subscriber. Yeah. Yeah, John. I think Johnny's going to be with us next week. I'm hoping so. I've been talking to him, but I haven't asked him about when he'll be back, just because I don't want to push anything. So he was traveling for the service and all that kind of stuff. So big love to him, and if you at JMillion on Twitter, if you want to send him some love, greatly appreciate it. And then enjoy Joy Reid. That's great. And also, guys, if you get a chance, send some love to Malcolm Nance. His wife passed this week. She'd been fighting ovarian cancer for 3 years. He's such a smart and valuable human being and such a sweetheart. And I think I met him for the first time at like Politicon a couple years ago. Was the first time I'd met him in person, and just a decent fellow. So, yeah. So if send some love to Johnny Million and send some love to Malcolm Nance if you follow him or any of those things. And if you don't, hop on, follow him, send him some love, and then unfollow. It's fine. Whatever works. But enjoy cooking brunch, Natalie. Bye, everybody. You guys take care of yourself. Thank you guys, all the new patrons. Thank you so much. These patches are going out this week, so you will get one. If you haven't gotten one, again, you have all the benefits. So if I have to put it in your hand physically, I will do so. But you have the ability to come to shows and all that kind of stuff. If you're at the $10 level, you get you and a guest at any of my stand-up shows that when I come your way. There's only going to be a limited number of these kind of things because I'm not blowing the Patreon up into some giant thing. I think our ultimate goal is 500 max in all categories combined. So fingers crossed, we'll eventually get there. I never even thought 50 was possible after we'd had 6 for 3 years. The 6, I love you guys dearly. You're wonderful. But on top of that, the fact that we hit 102 today is all you guys, and it's just crazy. You're wonderful. And so have a fantastic day. I will see you guys later. Big hugs all around. And we'll see you on Monday if you're a patron. If not, I'll see you next Saturday, or throughout the week. I'm going to be punching up little videos like the ones I added. By the way, check those out. I put a couple of them online. I'm testing a way of putting on shorter form videos during the week. Let me know if that works for you. So, yeah. I hope, for people who can't stay for a 4-hour show, we got to start leading people into the flock bit by bit. Yeah, so thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Sorry about it being unlisted at the top. That was me trying to be sneaky. And I'll see you guys on Monday / next week / next Saturday. All right, cheers. Bye, everybody.